families. It is a massive scandal. It is, if you're Adam Silver, directly. If you're Rob Manfred of Major League Baseball, this is the kind of stuff that you fear every single day. The optics of the integrity of your sport being in question, and understandably so, after something like that today. Like, you know, if you listen to this show or have followed my Twitter handle and for many, many years, and I do the betting show on the station, all this, I'm obviously an advocate for sports betting and got a lot of thoughts on this today. And I welcome your guys' input as well on the text line. We can even take your calls today at some point if you want, 913-586-7965. But this is the nightmare stuff for the league, Spink, where let me make sure there's some clarity on exactly what happened today. There is Chauncey Billups, the Portland Trail Blazers head coach. He's been charged in an illegal poker operation, so separate from the sports betting. Then you have Terry Rozier, the Miami Heat guard, former Cavs player and assistant coach Damon Jones, in a separate but related illegal gambling case that's actually tied to sports betting and fixing specifically with prop bets, specifically unders around a player. So the link between why the FBI today had the press conference announcing both, the link is the organized crime link to the organized crime families that they are alleging. So I just want to clear that up because I said this with Bob and Dusty. I was on with them already, Bink. And there's people kind of putting the two together as if the whole thing is a sports betting case. It's not. One is illegal poker games, allegedly, and the other part is sports betting. So I just want to make sure there's some clarity there. But this is the biggest story of the day, Bink.
It is, because it involves everybody, because huge NBA fan or not, you probably dabble in the sports gambling because it's there and it's available. The poker thing is completely separate, but how many people have gone to the poker games? Now, clearly not the big
yeah, we're talking about like high dollar poker games. I mean, in this press conference today, the FBI alleged.
But they are separate. I mean, the poker thing's one thing. The NBA is a more troubling thing to me.
Well, sure, and that's the angle we'll talk more about. Yeah. But on the poker thing, yeah, it's alleged that essentially Chauncey Billups, current head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, they show him as a face of the operation, as in he was used to lure poker players in, and they allegedly had like x-ray glasses, tables. They had
which
the
is
card
bad because you're an acquaintance, you're in the NBA making all this money, or
right.
You're on the side, and Chauncey's saying, "Hey, you want to come over for today?"
Card shuffling machines that were rigged as well. That's what's all alleged in this. And yeah, he's a NBA Hall of Famer. And then you have the sports betting side of it. This is just some of what the director of the FBI had to say today.
But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families.
Just wild stuff this morning to hear that and the link to the NBA. Now, the details on the sports betting side, because I think that's where more people are interested, frankly, than illegal poker games. I'm not saying it's not a serious crime, but I think our audience is more interested on the sports betting side of it and the impact that it has on the integrity of the NBA and our view on the NFL and our view on the Major League Baseball. It was reported as well, I think, from ESPN earlier today, that here's what happened with Rozier going back to March 23rd of 2023. It was a Hornets-Pelicans game. And all of a sudden, there was an unexpected surge of bets, including 30 wagers in 46 minutes from a professional bettor totaling $13,759. Came in on the under for Terry Rozier's points, under on his rebounds, under on his assists, and that at the time caused sportsbooks to halt betting on his props. Then, at the time with the Hornets, he played 10 minutes in the game before leaving with a foot injury. And that right there is the biggest issue right now with the prop betting market, and where I think if you're asking like what can be done to avoid this in the future and what the leagues have to be careful of. Because here's the reality, and I get it, and I can defend it for the most part, but I understand the optics, which is if I'm a bettor and I bet on a player's over and it doesn't hit, what do you think now the reaction bank is going to be from everybody that bets, or a lot of people that bet? Oh, maybe he intentionally didn't make a shot tonight. I'm not saying that's what's happening with every player by any means, but that's what today, once again, is opened back up. Even tonight in an NFL game, it's much more challenging to do this in an NFL game. But if, I'll just throw out a name randomly. Keenan Allen, your guy, Bink. Keenan Allen drops a touchdown pass tonight.
Why's it got to be him?
I don't know. It's your guy. Keenan Allen drops a touchdown pass tonight. There will be somebody on social media or whatever, and they're going to say, oh, did he intentionally drop that touchdown pass? This is what should annoy all of us with this conversation. And I totally get why that will be people's reaction. I'm just saying it doesn't mean every single bet now is rigged. However, what has to happen to me, if you're the leagues, if you're Adam Silver, Roger Goodell, Rob Manfred, if you're the sportsbook partners who also, by the way, believe it or not, were victims in this because they lost money on this as well. I know people don't believe that, but they did.
The casinos are going to be pissed.
You have got to have a real conversation, and if you're Adam Silver, immediately pressure sportsbooks and say, hey, the unders are not going to be prop bets that we offer. They have to pressure these sportsbooks. I think you're going to start to see legislation state by state that has legal sports betting. You're going to have some representative in Kansas, it would not surprise me, next session, that tries to introduce legislation, and understandably so, that says we're going to either limit the type of prop bet or try to ban them altogether. And I totally understand that that's the thought process. The NBA is the league in particular that has the biggest issue, Bank, right? The NBA, this goes back to way before legalized sports betting as well. The NBA, it's an more individualized sport. It's way easier to, quote unquote, rig player props.
Especially with injuries. That's the big thing. Because you can sit out. You say, hey, it's bothered me, and then you sit out the rest of the game. That's big. Or you see now all the videos involving certain players just throwing the ball away, inexplicably throwing it into somebody else's hand. You can miss shots. You can do a lot of things. But you're going to see a lot of the videos now because people are searching back at it. Man, I just lost, $1,000 on this game. And they'll go back and look at that and watch the player in that particular game and see what happens. But, yeah, unfortunately, this is what people are going to be blamed for. They just innocently lose the ball, fumble a football or a ball bounce off your foot. People are going to think it's rigged, like you said. That's the unfortunate part is the trust. Like that trust gets broken, and then all of a sudden you start blaming players that are just doing it innocently. They're really legitimately hurt coming out of a game, and all of a sudden they're now being lumped in with the ones that are doing fake-wise because it's hurting the ones that are legit injuries.
Honestly, if I were not just the commissioner, but if I were the NFL PA, the NBA PA, the MLB PA, and this is someone that's very much pro sports betting, you guys know this. If I were those players' associations, I would be requesting the league to work with the sports betting partners to limit / get rid of player props. And this is someone that loves betting on player props. Because think about it, if I'm a player in the league right now, especially the NBA, and I actually have a real injury, Bink, that I'd leave in the second quarter for. Now the assumption from a lot of people, because we've opened Pandora's box here, is going to be that, well, is he actually hurt? Or is he trying to screw me on my bet tonight? That is going to be what fans think. So if I'm an NBA player, I would want to go as the NBA PA to the league and to sports betting partners and say, I don't want you letting us bet on unders. I wouldn't want that to be the case because people are going to think something's going on.
100%, you're right, but people are just not trusting anything and not believing anything, right? Just look at the Chiefs, for example. Look how many people think it's fake officiating. It's always going towards the Chiefs. But yet it happened all the time in that Detroit-Tampa Bay game, right? And then all of a sudden people are like, well, the Buccaneers are getting screwed in this game. Well, the officiating sucks. But I'm saying is there's a distrust, a made-up story, a real distrust of what's going on. So that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to continue to be. You all right over there, Bink?
Oh, that's man's doing.
They were Fescoe and them were just making some faces over there. But look, I think someone says, "Hey, just don't bet on player props." Look, that's for if you are somebody that
it's fun though.
It is fun, but look, until they potentially have some more restriction, if you're somebody that thinks now that everything is rigged and set up, well, the simple thing is just don't bet, right? That's the simple part of it. If you actually think every single time now you're watching it's rigged, then don't bet. But I totally get anybody, especially on a day like today, that thinks, there are player props that are fishy and all that. I will just say this, just because you lose a bet now does not mean that it's all rigged against you. That's all I would say. Like, that'd be the only thing. What do you think the overarching solution is to all of this? Is there a solution? Look, sports betting's not going away in this country, okay? Like, the states are not going to now reverse course, in 35, 40 states, whatever it is now, are not going to all just ban sports betting. Not happening. Some of you wish that'll happen. I can promise you that's not happening. We're way past that. However, I focus in on the player props, and I think that is where we're going to see legislation and other limitations. And I totally understand why.
Yeah, it's at risk now through the player props. Doing the under is something you could still do if you just have the under available. The over, that's the risky one.
No, the under, no, the opposite. Unders are what can be manipulated.
Exactly,
Overs can't be manipulated.
Well, overs can too, to some extent.
No, because if I'm Terry Rozier and I'm playing a game, I can tell you,
he shoots an extra 10 shots. I mean, to make it up.
No,
that can happen.
No, see that's where I'll disagree. I disagree on that part of it. It is way easier to rig it under than an over. Come on now.
But coaches can. Because coaches can give the ball to a certain person.
The player has to make the shot still, Bink.
But that or touchdowns, you give it to a certain player over another one. That's who you have scored in touchdown.
Still has to score a touchdown.
It could be manipulated more through coaching on the over.
Yeah, I disagree.
The prop bets, I agree with you on that. But they are fun. But that's the one thing in legislation you could do.
I think
both sides can be
Gold's right. It's easier to manipulate the unders, but I get where you're going with it. Where Terry Rozier's like, nah, man, give me the ball, and I'm going to shoot 30 shots tonight because I'm getting those 10 threes.
Exactly.
He can.
We're acting like his teammates are just going to be like, oh, cool, man, no problem.
There are guys who just ball hog.
For Terry Rozier?
No, it's not, to me, it's not, you're rigging your chances of winning, essentially, not the bet. Where if you're rigging a bet, you can do the unders to win the bet.
It's easy to do, Alex.
The unders is why the unders is where the problem is. If I am an NBA player, and again, we're really talking about the NBA here because it's just way easier to manipulate than any other sport. It just is, because you can bet on points, rebounds, assists. Like, if I'm involved in this scheme, like allegedly Terry Rozier is, and I've got all these other individuals that I'm telling before the game, hey, I'm gonna leave the game due to an injury. Two quarters into the game, okay? The second quarter of the game. And I tell you, bet on my under points, rebounds, assists. If I leave for an injury, I can dictate that as the player. I can easily dictate that. If I tell you before the game, I'm going to make 7 threes tonight, I can't guarantee that. I may not make the damn shot.
But you can dictate assist. Instead of taking the shot, you're just dishing it off.
But your teammate has to also make the shot.
Of course they do. But instead of taking the shot, you're like, hey, I'll just give it to somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just firmly believe.
Yours
I don't know.
Easier. Yours is easier.
That's all I'm arguing. Yeah, like it is way easier for me if I'm involved in a scheme to tell you I'm not going to do something than I am going to do something. The other way. Sure, I guess it's not impossible, but I can't tell you my over/under is 19.5 points. You know how many players would love to guarantee they're going to score over 20? They can't. People, if it was that easy, then we'd be talking about a completely different sport. I can't promise you I'm scoring over 20. I can promise you I'm not scoring 20, though. I can make sure I got 19 points with 5 minutes to go in the game. I can make sure I never take a shot the rest of the game.
You don't think Major League managers can dictate a player's strikeouts? If 6 strikeouts is plus 270 or something, and 5 strikeouts right at plus 120, and you pull them out of the game. I'm just saying that can happen. Like a guy having 5 strikeouts, he gets pulled out of the game, so he can't get the 6.
You also can't.
You open yourself up with that with all sports.
Well, everybody's going to have any conspiracy. Yeah. That's why this whole thing's a mess for the leagues, because what you just said, like any random person can come up with a theory they think that something's rigged. I mean, that's not a new concept.
I'm just saying that's a coaching aspect with the players. That can't happen. Because clearly we saw a coach get nailed from it.
Anything can happen. I mean, that's what today's all about, is that the theories you're throwing out there, everybody can throw out there now, because it is now shown that, at least in a different atmosphere, that something can be fixed. And
people are all this, everything's rigged stage now.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, is like we people were doing that before today, but today is a day in which you have a little more credence behind it, admittedly. I can't argue that. I'm just saying I don't think now that every single aspect of sports we watch is rigged. And some people will take that stance, and that's fine. I will say today, sports betting, what I mentioned with Terry Rozier and how they caught him, and Cody and I always argue about this back and forth, and I don't know where your stance is. My stance still is, for those that say this is only happening now, that sports wagering is legal. I push back on that because, one, we know in the NBA in particular, there was gambling scandals before legalized sports wagering. Hell, we know the Black Sox stuff. That was way before legalized sports betting. The
college teams have been involved in point shaving long before this.
Right. So I always push back on that. And some people say I get defensive about it, and I probably do because I think it's incorrect. Scandals are not happening more now just because sports betting is legal. You know how they caught Terry Rozier? Because a third party that the leagues and the sports books pay have algorithms that detect irregularities. What was this exact scenario I just mentioned? Unexpected surge of bets, 30 wagers in 46 minutes, totaling $13,759 on unders, points, rebounds, assists. That's going to cause people's alarm bells to go off. In fact, computers' alarms to go off. That's what I'm saying. If you're betting in Costa Rica with, name your offshore company, Bovada or whoever, everybody that's bet before knows those names, they don't have the same things in place. The FBI can't go that direction as much as they can with this. Whereas your FanDuel's, DraftKings, et cetera, and if I make a bet on FanDuel, and I just made my account today, guys, and randomly I'm deciding to bet on first half Norfolk State to cover in a basketball game, $5,000. That's sketchy. That's weird. You just made, and wait, now Drew's account's doing that too. Now Bink's account's doing that too. Alarm bells go off when that happens. That's something that they could not detect 8 years ago.
So I think to the question of, or to the point of everybody saying everything is rigged and all of that stuff, I think sports gambling has its role in why it's become such a thing. And that's not it's not that that's just how people take it, but I think because of the promotion of it, because of the of this is brought to you by this, it feels like and it's not the sports book's fault or anything like that necessarily. I don't think it's just people they bet so much that they just fall on and we use odds so much. The odds are popped up on the screen all the time that if something doesn't go right, then it's rigged. That's, I think the gambling tie-in to how we view sports is causing people to just fall on, well, it's rigged, well, it's not rigged. And it's just become not a disaster of sports conversation, but it feels like we don't actually talk about the game as much as we do, well, it's rigged because of this and because all of this other stuff. And that's, I think, partially because of the promotion of gambling and how we see it all of the time. Like how the Portland Trailblazers, no pun intended with this whole story, they have an odds person who, during games for the local broadcast, will talk about the odds and analytics side of things and live odds of betting during the broadcast of the games.
We see it in NFL games. I mean, Sunday Night Football has. We'll update that. I think it's separate from the sports betting probe today by the FBI with Terry Rozier. But what you're arguing is more the advertising aspect of it, and
as to why our conversations are it's rigged,
and it's in people's faces. And we've discussed on this show. I think you're going to see, unrelated to today, because I think it's a separate conversation. To me, you're going to see a pullback nationwide. I don't know if it has to come at the federal level or the state level on the advertising components and how you advertise sports betting. Similar to, and this was well before I was born, but similar to how there was a pullback on cigarette commercials, like, the Marlboro Man commercials and stuff. Like, we don't see those on TV anymore, right?
Or
there's a reason. Like,
I
think you're going to have, in a way, like warning label-ish type stuff, if that makes sense, right? Like,
no, 100%.
I think you're going to. Now, I think it's still going to be involved in sports broadcasting very heavily. I don't think that's going away, guys. But the fact that every commercial is this or that, or I think that will be something nationwide there's going to be more of an emphasis on. But I think that's completely unrelated to today.
Well, where do you come out with this, though? The Lakers, Raptors, Hornets, Trailblazers, speaking of Trailblazers, where teams bet on using
and the Lakers,
Lakers, Raptors, Hornets, and Trailblazers bet on using insider information in the gambling. That could come from anywhere, the insider
Yeah,
information.
clear up that what you just said, though, for a second. Just clear up what you said, because
I said the Lakers, Raptors, Hornets, Trailblazers were teams bet on.
There you go.
Not that they did anything.
Yeah,
were
there you
bet
go.
on
Yeah.
using insider information. That could have come from anywhere. Could have come from a disgruntled player. Could have come from a training staff, a broadcast. It could have come from anywhere. But there were 4 teams that were bet on using insider information. Now the question is, where does this inside information come from? Was it a player? Was it a trainer? Was it them? But anyway, 4 teams now involved. And this is the tip of the iceberg. This is why 4 teams mentioned here could be a lot more.
Yeah, this all initially, the news today, if you're just turning in to the show, or tuning into the show, sorry, and I mean, it's everywhere. This is not just a sports talk radio thing today. It was on the lead. It was one of the leads on Good Morning America. I mean, it's a national story today. Again, the FBI announced 30-plus people were arrested today involved in, on one hand, a illegal poker scheme, allegedly involving criminal enterprises and organized crime.
Separate deals.
But the link is the same crime family. You've got an NBA head coach, an active one involved on the legal poker side. You've got a current NBA player and a current NBA assistant involved on the sports betting side of things, and potentially rigging player under bets or over-under bets. That's where we're at today. We're going to talk plenty more about this throughout the show. I mean, I could talk for 4 hours about it today. To me, it's fascinating. It's also, again, worst-case scenario for the sports leagues today, and we'll see what the trickle-down effect is. But this all stems from Jonte Porter. Remember, 2 years ago, I think it's been at this point, he was initially involved, and then that investigation brought them to today. And so the question will be, what else now stems? Who else talks now? And do they find out there's other people involved? I mean, Gilbert Arenas was arrested like a year or so ago for allegedly setting up illegal poker games as well, high-level poker games. I mean, this is not a new concept of what is going on. We'll see where this all goes today, but we'll get back to
the NBA PR has been able to move away from the poker thing. So,
yeah.
Honestly, with Chauncey Billups, I can see him trying to move away from that deal really quickly.
All right, coming up next, let's talk a little bit about the Chiefs. We'll get into some football, and Rashee Rice's return last week, what it means for his future contract and what that could look like. Bink's got some thoughts on that. We'll get to it right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Brian Baldinger. At the Home Depot, Makita tools are built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts, who know the job's only done when it's done right. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year, performance that pays off. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best, available at the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
From pads and rotors to shocks and struts, coming to a full stop should never mean your business does too. At Napa, we are the pros that know brakes and suspension better than anyone. So when others are grinding their gears, our premium parts and exceptional service deliver results. Whether you're operating a local shop or managing a national fleet, Napa has exactly what you need, when and where you need it. Get the brake and suspension parts you're looking for right now at Napa.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Think about it. You take thousands of steps every day. Shouldn't every single one of them feel amazing? Well, with Arch Fit hands-free Skechers slip-ins, they can. Skechers teamed up with podiatrists to design a shoe that provides amazing arch support for all-day comfort. And best of all, you get all this comfort, stability, and support with the ease of Skechers slip-ins technology. Just slip them on. There's no bending down and no struggling to tie your shoes. Just step in and go. Try Arch Fit hands-free Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever comfortable footwear is sold.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
All right, just getting started here on a Thursday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Drew Nixon with you. Jay Binkley in for Cody today. We're about a half hour away from being joined by Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. We'll talk a little bit about what we're discussing right here in a second, which is Rashee Rice, and also look ahead to Chiefs Commanders. You guys can always text in. A lot of texts, obviously, on the first segment of the show there involving the sports betting scandal, the illegal poker scheme today with the FBI arresting multiple individuals involved with the NBA. 29 other individuals as well. 913-586-7966.
I want to say something because you're not going to say it, so I'll say it.
Okay.
If there's one person in the city that follows gambling, going to, Topeka, following Missouri, what's going on, it's been Alex Gold. He's been following this since the beginning in both states, and it's his field. And when he rambles about this, it's perfect for him to be on Fescoe in the morning with his normal segment. But Alex pays attention to this. This is not just Alex talking about this. This is something like he knows. I would say he's an expert in his field as far as media in this town when it comes to sports gambling.
I appreciate that, Bing.
No, seriously, you're
I
not
didn't
going
know
to
where
say
you
it,
were
but
going with
honestly,
that.
you
I
do.
first said something, but yeah, I'm glad you went there.
I appreciate that, Bing. I'm obviously very passionate about it.
Well, I know you are, but I'm just saying, giving you
it's
credit because you're that guy in this town. That's your niche, and that's what you do, and this is what you're good at. This is the perfect show to listen to for this because of your knowledge of this.
I appreciate that. Yeah, look, we'll get back into it. I'm obviously passionate about it. It's no secret.
You also give me bad betting advice.
That's right. Sometimes. Sometimes.
I went with you with the damn Chargers.
I'm an advocate for it. It's no secret, so I don't try to hide behind that in terms of when we have these conversations. I think it is obviously a huge story and not a great thing for anybody involved in sports betting today. But I was just trying to emphasize, just because somebody doesn't hit your bet tonight does not mean it's rigged. That's all. Anyway, all right, let's talk about Rashee Rice.
You mean like officiating of the Chiefs? It's rigged.
Yeah. Let's talk about Rashee Rice. You and I were talking off air yesterday. You were in the building yesterday afternoon a little bit about Rashee Rice. And, of course, he made his return last week. We once again saw the offense really does run through him. He had 7 catches on 14 routes run, had the 2 touchdowns. We know what the offense looked like last year, the first 3 or 4 weeks, when he was the focus of it as well. And because of his off-the-field issues and the injury, is there a chance that they end up getting a fairly team-friendly deal at the end of the season. Because heading into last week, we had the conversation on this show that, to me, he's already a top 20 receiver. The question is, and for his finances moving forward, by the end of the year, is he viewed as a top 10 or top 15 wide receiver?
Here's the way to look at Rashee Rice. His rookie year was the year that Puka was in his class. Puka, the third, fifth round selection of the Rams, but he led the NFL in receptions and yards. Number 2 was Rashee Rice. Also, Rashee Rice was going to be one of the top receivers in the National Football League last year if he wasn't hurt in Game 4. He was trending that direction. And we saw that graphic, right? The first 20 games, he has more yards and touchdowns than both Kelsey and Tyreek Hill did in their first 20 games. So the first 20 games played, and we know what happened with Tyreek. He's playing a lot of special teams at first, and they moved them packages. I'm just saying his production has been more than those guys in his first 20 games. Now, the NFL in the CBA, one of the rules they put, I think it was back in 2011, is first-round picks, we know they have the fifth-year contract. But beyond the first round, it's a 4-year deal. But you can give a guy a contract extension after 3 accrued years in the NFL. Hence, 2025 was the 2022 draft class. You could start paying him. Brock Purdy, 7th-round pick, was given the money in 2025 for an extension. The 49ers waited. They gave him the money before his contract was expired because he wasn't on a 5-year deal. He was on a 4-year deal because he was a 7th-round pick. And we hear all this talk, Trey Smith, when they paid him and, the tag that he had. And then you think about Karlaftis, who, by the way, was in that 2022 draft class as well, albeit has a 5th-year option. But they went ahead and extended him now, just like Purdy in 2025 when he's part of the 22 draft class. 26, Rashee Rice comes up for that. Still a 4-year contract, still a year early, but you can't extend him at that point. I just think when you look at Rashee Rice, the quarterbacks always have their guys. They always have their trusted guys. And for years, that's been, Kelsey and Mahomes. It's been Kelsey and Mahomes, that trusted guy he has. Well, Kelsey is probably going to ride off into the sunset after this year, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
So
yes.
Rashee Rice, who's going to be that guy? And I understand there's a big connection being built with Xavier Worthy at this point, but you don't have to worry about that at this point. But you look at these great quarterbacks, Duper, Clayton, Marino, Harrison, and Reggie Wayne with Peyton Manning. These guys all had their guy. Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, and Steve DeBerg. You always have your guy. And you look at the Rice connection, and then Jesse Newell-Lastar, who covers the Chiefs, put it out that that second touchdown of Rice was a product of working out in the offseason with Patrick Mahomes. We all know Rashee Rice, a big part of Camp Pat and whatever. But when I see that, you see a connection between that quarterback and receiver. And you can find it with different teams. Obviously, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, even more so than T. Higgins. But every quarterback, good quarterbacks have that dude. And I look at Rashee Rice as that guy for Mahomes. Now, he's already had the suspension. So if he goes out into the free agent world, you got that already against you. And they will use that against you. Teams will use that against you. You've already had 6 games. You've already been nailed by the NFL once. He had the injury that he bounced back from because he had twofold with the partially torn PCL. So he had both things going against him. So that's 2 knocks in that situation where teams will use it against you. It's not as nasty as arbitration in baseball and what goes on with teams, but it does bring his value down. So I'm thinking you can get a top 10 receiver for a top 25 or top 30 market in the NFL money. Rashee Rice has obviously had to spend a lot of money. That legal is not cheap. His legal defense is not cheap.
I think, a $1 million civil settlement, if I'm not mistaken.
And he's making second-round money. I'm just saying, I'm not saying the Chiefs could, screw him over getting a great deal because he's been loyal to the Chiefs, and they've been extremely loyal to him. It's gone both ways in that situation. I just think you don't hear Rashee Rice's name. We always hear McDuffie and everybody else, but you don't hear the one guy that goes with the guy that moves this team, and that's Patrick Mahomes.
And that's because of the reasons you just brought up, though, right? I mean,
I get that. I'm just saying you can get him cheaper than you
I think there's
could.
a real if he makes it through healthy the rest of the year, and hopefully he does, and if he produces the way I think you and I both think he will produce the remainder of this season, then it will be a really interesting conversation. And I would agree that if they are interested in keeping him, and I think they will be, that they could get, quote unquote, a team-friendly deal because of some of the circumstances. But I get to this point in time, if you're asking, why is he not talked about the same way that McDuffie is in this organization, is because he hadn't played in 387 days until last Sunday.
He'll have the 3 seasons, though, after this year. That's why it'll be a topic.
Yeah, absolutely, Big. I'm with you. It'll be a topic, and in all likelihood, they will discuss it. I'm just saying, if you're asking, why is he not viewed in the same realm as McDuffie and these other? One, McDuffie is a top 5 player at his position, top 3.
I get that, but also, I'm just saying his name will start being mentioned heavily.
It also because he hadn't played football in over a year. I mean, you have to be available, and so he has to prove that he can get through this season healthy for starters. Then potentially, if they don't do anything this coming offseason, he has to prove can he get through another offseason to be 2 in a row of not having any off-the-field issues. So I don't know if I'm in a rush to do it this offseason if I'm Kansas City because I got to get the McDuffie deal done. But whenever they work on a deal with Rice, if everything else goes well, I do think they will get what is viewed as a team-friendly deal for a couple reasons, and he might be willing to sign quicker because of the financial implications that he is dealing with due to his own mistakes.
It's kind of like, Karlaftis with Trey Smith. They just gave Trey Smith all the money, and Karlaftis was thrown in. That was kind of a surprise. Yeah. Hey, they re-upped George Karlaftis that situation. I think Rice comes kind of into that deal. I can see a deal with McDuffie, then a deal with Rashee Rice after that. I'm not a huge fan of second contracts, especially the receivers, because we know their value. And the draft is full of great receivers. We see that all the time with teams. Look at Torrey Horton with the Seahawks. He got 4 touchdowns now. He's a 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, these receivers are coming out from anywhere. I mentioned Puka. It was a 5th-round pick, the 3rd 5th-round pick selection of the Rams. This happens. I'm not a huge fan of, re-upping that contract to $30 million and see what you got at that point, or, pay T. Higgins like the Bengals did and have Juju have basically the same stats that he has. That's a concern. And that should be a concern.
Yeah, but Bink,
I knew that would get Drew going.
Bink, if you can lock in Rashee being a top 10, 15 wide receiver, which he was on pace to do last year, you pay him. You pay him the money when he's that good. Because all this time we've talked, because the last 2 years we've seen Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, MV, whatever it is. You pay Rashee Rice that money. It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter because he's that good. You don't want to have to go through the process of, we hope this guy works out who we drafted in the 2nd round. But you landing what could end up being a top 10 wide receiver of 15 after the year's done and just looking at where he was at last year before getting injured and already what he's done in the one game that he's played, you pay a guy like that.
No, you do. And I mentioned T. Higgins, who had a good game this last game, but he's got 24 for 316. Juju Smith-Schuster, 22 for 260. Not a huge difference there.
I mean, what
and Juju's actually ahead of him before the last game.
Let's assume
we're talking about the number 1 wide receiver on the Chiefs, which is Rashee Rice. I mean,
it's
not Xavier Worthy.
I'm just saying, when you throw money at people, which I'm not a huge advocate, I would have let T. Higgins walk, to be quite honest with you. I would have worked on Trey Hendrickson a little bit more, and then we came back this year, but that's what I would have done, especially with running backs. I just see Rashee Rice in a different situation. Not a huge advocate of second contract. With him, I am, because I see that connection with Mahomes. It's like his dude, his guy.
Let's assume best case scenario for a second. Okay, Rice makes it through healthy. He has a type of season the rest of the way that would have put him on pace, let's call it, for 1,100 yards or 1,200 yards, okay? I know he's not going to get there, but let's just say that's the pace he ends up on the rest of the year, and multiple touchdowns and all that. And it's post-February. Hopefully the Chiefs have played in the Super Bowl, all that. What do we actually think the contract would look like? Let's assume the Chiefs are interested in that scenario because everything worked out. I mean, Terry McLaurin just got 3 years, $96 million, and he's, 5 years older? 6 years older at least? I don't know the exact break. I think it's 5 or 6 years older than Rashee Rice. I mean, even on a team-friendly deal, that extension would still be north of $90+ million. Like, you're not, let me be clear. When we talk team-friendly, I don't think you're saying this. You're not getting Rashee Rice on a 3-year extension for $50, $60 million. No. I mean, this thing would still be a $90+ million extension.
No, it would be. And keep in mind, the salary cap kind of surprised the Chiefs. It was supposed to be around $270 million. It ended up being a little bit more, $279 million where the salary cap. So the team's got about an extra $9 or $10 million than what they thought they were going to get when they did their projections for what it's going forward. But we see the streaming rights and everything else, what they're doing now in the more international games. They're getting more money, so this becomes more feasible. That's honestly why I think George Karlaftis got the deal right with Trey Smith.
Yeah, someone said Terry McLaurin is different. He never had any legal issues and all that. And that's fair. Terry McLaurin's been a model citizen by all accounts in D.C. But McLaurin's also 30 years old is what I would push back. And remember, that was the whole contract dispute for Terry. He ended up getting a 3-year extension for $96 million. Now, I don't remember the guarantees. I don't have that in front of me, Bink, the actual guarantees on McLaurin's deal. So it's not 90. Of course, it's not fully guaranteed, 3 for 96. But as much as I believe the team-friendly, because of the legal and the injury stuff is real, if he makes it through the rest of this year and puts up massive numbers and is healthy, I don't think the team-friendly discount is Like, what's the realistic discount he's getting? He's not signing a 3-year extension for only like $70 million, guys. That's not happening.
It's not going to be that kind of hometown
I think
discount.
it's going to be at least the Terry McLaurin
Well,
number.
I just think because look at
Something like 4 for 120.
Look at last year. Trey Smith
crossing
got
over 100 million.
115, yeah.
Trey Smith got paid on what, July 15th? And then George Karlaftis' deal, what, July 20th? 5 days separated there.
Okay.
So that was just thrown in. And to be honest with you, did you look at George Karlaftis kind of being a team-friendly deal? Because it really
It's going to be. It's going to be in about 2 years.
It looked like a real team-friendly deal for the Kansas City Chiefs when he got it, because if he performs
Still
like I
does.
thought he could perform, he could go on that open market. Edges get a ton of money in the open market. I felt that was a good deal for the Chiefs, what they got with George Karlaftis. But again, those deals came within 5 days of each other. And I think a big part of that was the extra $10 million every team got.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll talk more about Rashee Rice with Dane and Hughes, maybe how he projects the future for Rice. And we will talk about Terry McLaurin and the Commanders, because it looks like Terry McLaurin is going to be back in this game. I know there's no Jaden Daniels. That was the news yesterday that broke during the show. But it seems like Debo and Terry McLaurin are back. What does that mean for the Chiefs defense? Kansas City up to 12.5-point favorites. By the way, I know as we were talking sports betting, I still will throw that in.
We could talk about the pass. They're actually number 2 in the NFL in running. So that's actually what they should concentrate on.
Bill with Krosky Merritt?
Yeah, the Commanders as a team are number 2 in the NFL in rushing.
Sports Talk on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. If you were listening yesterday, you noticed Drew was gone. He wasn't on the show. We had JT filling in. Drew, we joked that was hungover from his birthday, Bink, the night before. He was putting out on Instagram. He was doing Papa Shot. It looked like he bought some new clothes because he took a selfie with a shirt on, thank goodness. He took a selfie from what appeared to be a dressing room at a department store or something like that. Was it? Am I right on that?
Yes.
Okay, so you got some new clothes.
Typical,
birthday was good. And so I said I thought you were hungover, and then we remembered, oh, yeah, we sent you... the station sent you to Big 12 basketball media days yesterday.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was really good. If you want to, you can check. I think we've got some videos up on our social outside of just me shooting a ball or me.
Oh, yeah.
With
Was
some
that
puppies.
one take? Cody wanted me to ask you. So there was a video Kramer put up of you. It was not quite Papa Shot, but it was definitely a smaller basketball goal. You had a microphone on. You were wearing some nice dress clothes, it looked like, and you shot a basket and you swished it. Cody's convinced that was take 3, 4, or 5.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. That was, dude. It was, and it wasn't just me. Everybody was having trouble making the shot with those basketballs.
What about your Clark Kellogg barbecue conversation?
Oh yeah, Clark Kellogg was awesome, man. He is a very, very nice individual. Was kind enough to take some time, not just asked him about the barbecue stuff, but obviously about some of the stuff around college basketball too. But that was the big thing, is trying to get a bunch of athletes' thoughts on the plates. Got AJ DeBonsa's thoughts on it. Try to get Darren Peterson. I don't think he fully understood my question.
What did you? Wasn't the question just what would you have on your barbecue plate?
Yes,
but you just got drawn in to the biggest faux pas of any media in Kansas City. Ask him about the damn barbecue.
Well, hey, in fairness, this is the thing.
I'm serious though.
So no, you're right though, but it turned into more though. So for instance, one of the first people who I talked to about it was PJ Haggerty, of course, new Kansas State point guard.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, you're in Kansas City, obviously known for barbecue. What's on your plate? So he answered. He gave his answer, and then somebody followed up and said, "Is it better than Memphis barbecue?" And he said, "No, I'm gonna have to go with Kansas City." So shout out to Kansas City. It's better than Memphis, according to PJ Haggerty. So
it happens to everybody. It happened to Terrell Suggs when he signed with the Chiefs. Happened to Sammy Watkins.
Christian Anderson at Texas Tech said that Texas barbecue is better.
I'm not surprised. He's in Texas.
But Drew's 30. Drew's 30.
I am 30. He also said, I don't know if you guys have heard of this. He said cheese-filled sausage.
So like a smash burger, but sausage? I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever had it.
I'd never heard of it before, but it sounds good.
No.
Is that barbecue though?
I don't know if that might be a Texas thing, because Christian Anderson, who plays at Texas Tech, again, he said he likes Texas. He's got to have cheese-filled sausage.
So enough about this. Did you get hammered?
No.
Why not? You just turned 30 once. I'd say act like you've been there before, but you haven't. That's a big deal, man. It's a big turning point. You should have been just hammered, man. I'm floored.
Well, one, I knew I had to get up early in the morning to get to Big 12 Media Days. I wanted to just
part of the experience.
Wasn't just going to black out. I had a good time. It was enjoyable. I had a couple of drinks.
You slamming seltzers?
Enjoyed it yesterday. So yeah, go check out our social media channels. I think we're going to get to it in the next hour. one common question that we'll get to.
We can talk about here. Yeah.
If you want to get to it here.
Yeah, we can.
There's people were asked about this whole G League thing that's going on and recruiting G League players. So basically, the gist of it, if you haven't heard, Louisville got a player who was with the G League Ignite and is now recruited him to commit to Louisville. He's joining the team, not playing this year. Next year, he'll be eligible.
So wait, somebody was able to play in the G League, which is a step below the NBA, in their world.
It's the minor leagues for the NBA. Yes.
So the G League, and then now he can go back to college and be recruited and go through the NIL process and everything and play collegiate athletics?
Yeah.
That makes zero sense.
Apparently, it is a thing, and it's driven coaches up a wall a little bit. Since this has been announced, Kelvin Sampson talked about it. All the coaches were asked about it. We've got audio from Bill Self that I can play here in a second for you. Because Bill Self was also asked about the whole concept of it. And I think it's this generalization of nobody knows what the rules actually are.
Because that's the same sport. It used to be baseball. You could go get paid by baseball if you went and played, pro or college football.
Correct.
Because that was a different sport. You could do it. This crosses. This is a weird deal. This is where legislation needs to happen. I mean, it's like Diego Pavis of the world, right? They get these extra years of eligibility. And the bottom line is, now, because of his lawsuit, it erases JUCO. It used to be if you played 2 years of JUCO, you got 2 more years to play at Division I. And now you got more years of eligibility. It is very hard to find out how much years of eligibility someone has because they can always challenge the court system. It's getting out of control.
You have some 28-year-old that played in the G League can go back and play college basketball. That just makes zero sense. And the NCAA right now, I guess, doesn't have a way to actually stop that. This player, what's his name again, Drew?
I don't remember the
London
name,
Johnson.
but I know
London Johnson signed a reported two-year, $1.1 million deal to join G League Ignite, which, by the way, that program is now defunct. That team doesn't exist, okay, out of high school. He signed that in 2022. He played in the NBA Academy Africa program before joining the G League. And now he's going to play for Louisville. That just shouldn't be allowed.
Insane. It shouldn't be.
Because there's supposed to go to the NBA academies and then they go to college, which I think is fine. But it's the going to the G League part of it where you're paid, you're under contract and all that stuff. I thought that was something where you forfeit your eligibility at that point.
That's what I thought.
Go pro, quote unquote, or you're getting paid to be in that sort of a setting. Like minor league, I think. Honestly,
Chris Winkie got paid for his baseball player, went back for college.
In minor league baseball, I wonder now if a guy's not making it in double or single A and is like, you know what, forget this, I'm going to go back to college. Is that a thing that's possible?
They've got to now that's getting brought to the forefront. This is going to have to get cleared up by the NCAA. I mean, if you're Jerome Tang or you're Bill Self, you should be finding out if you feel like you need someone to fill out your roster. You should be finding out and calling around G League players who wants to come back to college. The issue that you run in there where you screw over the current guy you gave a scholarship to, though, is because you've got some 19-year-old kid that thinks he's in line for a role, and then all of a sudden I find out now that I can go sign a 24-year-old that already has played in kind of, I would call semi-pro basketball, coming back to college. That's messed up.
And that was Tom Izzo's main point, is he thinks it's embarrassing and it really hurts the true freshmen or the high school kids. This is what Bill Self had to say. This was yesterday at Big 12 Media Days when he was asked about it.
Don't want to knock it from a standpoint that who knows, we may be recruiting one before it's all said and done. But I got to know the rule better because I didn't know it was just limited to G League. I thought a guy could get cut in the NBA and be eligible for college. My personal opinion is I have no idea what we're doing. What are we doing? So we're going to go recruit. We're going to call NBA teams and G League teams to find out who would potentially be available, and that's who we're going to recruit now, as opposed to high school kids or even portal kids. And what is the actual rule? Does it have to fit within a 5-year window? Can he go to college first? I don't really understand it well enough to comment too much, other than why wouldn't everybody declare for the draft, and if it doesn't work out, go back to college?
Exactly.
I mean, if it is the way that I think it is, which it may not be because I don't understand it well enough yet, it's going to open up some unintended consequences that we're going to have to deal with for sure.
Exactly. I mean, that point right there from Bill Self at the end. I mean, it's true. If you're a high school kid or you've been in college for 1 year, whatever, why the heck wouldn't you You can go back. You could always go back to college if it doesn't work out.
Well, I like what the NBA said. Remember when they used to declare for the draft, you couldn't go back to college, right? You couldn't do that. But then they opened the camp up where you go get speculation from players. They say, "Oh, you're not going to be a first-round pick."
That's fine.
You have to make a decision.
And that's fine.
And I like that. That makes sense to me. Let them go through the process. Nope, I think that's perfect.
The NFL.
But you have, Bill Self, one of the faces of college basketball, admitting, and I'm not saying this is not like a negative for him. It speaks to the ridiculousness of the NCAA. Tom Izzo saying the same thing. These are some of the biggest coaches and prominent figures in the game, and they are like, we're not sure what the rule is. That's not on them. That speaks to the greater issue of college basketball and the NCAA. I mean, these guys know what the hell they're doing. They've had all kinds of success, and yet they're even like, wait a second, we can do this?
I think that because people are texting in, well, isn't college considered pro already, all this other stuff. I still think there's levels to it where the NCAA, like these schools are still tied to the NCAA and all these other things. They're not tied to the NBA, where I think, look, if all of a sudden all these programs left and they just joined as a part of the NBA and it became a minor league thing, then of course. But right now there's still that distinction between college and pro. Even though you can get paid to play in college, there's still, I think, that designation where, like, if you, like Bill brought up if you get cut by an NBA team, you can come back. I think that's insane to think about. But I understand why. Maybe not in the same sport, but like, for instance, I guess one example is J.R. Smith. Played in the NBA for a long time. He retired, he still had his college eligibility because he came straight out of high school. He went to play golf in college. I know it's a different sport, but I wonder if that's the gray area where you can get away with it. Like, I'm not saying LeBron's going to do this, but if somebody let's say somebody goes to college and they play a couple years in the NBA, it doesn't work out, and all of a sudden they're like, you know what, I can go back to college and I can play, but they're 26 or 27. Like, is there an age limit? That was another thing that Tom Izzo brought up.
There has to be
Should
some
there be an age limit where, look, guy, if you're 25, sorry, you can't play college basketball anymore because, to your point, Gold, you're ruining it for the high school kids and the portal kids where do you even recruit those guys anymore? If you can get NBA talent to come and play at your school, that's where coaches are going to lean.
And I understand that NIL has blurred the lines of all this. The NCAA, like we always say, like we've joked about student athletes, give me a break at this point in time for these high-level programs.
Yeah.
It's there. So we've always said, well, if you're getting paid, is it professional basketball and all that? That's the lines are blurred. But as it's currently still viewed, I guess, by the coaches and by the NCAA, at least, is that the G League is essentially semi-pro basketball, and then you're going back to an amateur sport. Now, I know we can all dispute and debate, like, it's not really amateur basketball anymore at NCAA. They still view it as that.
Yeah, that's the question.
But that's where the complication comes in, because I still think the G League would be semi-pro, and then I'm going back to college sports, which is separate. The issue is now we are treating college sports like it is a semi-professional thing, and so what should actually be allowed? But the coaches don't even know the rule, so therefore, once again, the NCAA is not actually in charge and doing what they should do. Yep. We can get back to this later. I know a lot of texts are coming in on that. Up next, let's get back to the NFL, though. Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver, going to join the show. We'll talk to him about Rashee Rice. We'll look ahead to the Commanders game right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about? out!
T-Mobile's got home internet!
And Donald's got my weed whacker!
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with autopay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel, because FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot means that you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each and every week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores either the first or the last touchdown in the game, then you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to take a shot at the jackpot. Remember my promo code KFNZ for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt in. Must apply profit boost hosting on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit KSGamblingHelp.com.
Great time of year to get your roof checked out over at Century Roofing. Well, they'll give you a free estimate to make sure it's in good shape. Look, maybe you're up there cleaning the gutters as the leaves start to come down and you notice a few problem areas. Maybe it is just repairs. Maybe it is a roof replacement. They can figure out what your project needs. They've done Roof on My Work 2 different times. The back screen porch from my house that some wind caught up on that I had to get worked on, like some sheet metal. And then the main roof of my house. I thought I'd been hearing a drip. Had them check it out. There was a small leak. They took care of it, and now a small problem won't become a big problem. Trust a locally owned and operated company. One that's been in the Kansas City area for 35 years, done over 30,000 roofs, and not just me telling you. Voted best roofing company in Kansas City, thanks to readers over the Kansas City Star. Voted best roofing company in Johnson County 4 years in a row. They're ready to handle no matter what your roofing needs are or no matter what your roofing project looks like. So if you need that checked out, you want to be safe going into the winter, make sure Century Roofing can take care of that for you. Trust the pillars of strength. Go with female-owned and locally owned Century Roofing and go to centuryroofingkc.com.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
From pads and rotors to shocks and struts, coming to a full stop should never mean your business does too. At Napa, we are the pros that know brakes and suspension better than anyone. So when others are grinding their gears, our premium parts and exceptional service deliver results. Whether you're operating a local shop or managing a national fleet, Napa has exactly what you need, when and where you need it. Get the brake and suspension parts you're looking for right now at Napa.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Happy anniversary, Royals fans.
Lined right field toward the corner. Fair ball. Kane around second. On his way to third. He's going to try to score. Here he comes. Throw not in time. Eric Hosmer lined it into right field toward the corner. Bautista went over to dig it out, but Kane from first base scoring all the way. Hosmer ends up at first base. And this place is vibrating.
96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon with you. Jay Binkley is in for Cody today. Coming up in 45 minutes, we're expected to head out to Arrowhead and hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes right here on your home for the Chiefs. 96.5 The Fan. It is that time of the week where we check in with a former Chiefs wide receiver. Of course, Danon Hughes from the Chiefs Radio Network. He'll be part of the broadcast Monday night at Arrowhead as the Chiefs welcome in the Washington Commanders. And our conversations with Danon are brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue, and brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. I do have to start, Elise, just if you have any reaction to what is the news of the day in sports world and just period around these FBI investigations and arrests involving gambling with Terry Rozier and Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, it's a sad day, man. I mean, it seems like anytime you got those three letters involved in anything, it's not good. And it usually means that there's been a case or has been surveillance or moles or informants, or like you talking about not just an investigation like local police. You're talking about the FBI being involved. So like chances are they have things on those players and those coaches that those guys don't even realize that they, that were pertinent to their investigations. And it's unfortunate because, by all accounts of what I've heard about Chauncey Billups and what you've seen from him and his career, not just as a coach but as a player, that he seemed like a good dude. And hopefully he just wasn't caught up in something. But at the same time, you kind of feel like I feel a little indifferent about it because I feel like, we hear all the stories of athletes and entertainers hosting their own poker parties, mm-hmm. and they're gambling on planes and in hotels, but like you just wonder like what level did it go to above that? Was it when did it go from like the poker game on the plane as they were taking off to the level that the FBI got involved? And so it's going to be interesting to see how all that unfolds.
No question. Hey, Dana, in this last game, a lot of talk about the offense, and it's been the national story how good the offense looks. What was more impressive to you in that game, the offense or that defense for the Chiefs?
So, Bink, it pains me to talk nicely about defense.
It does.
You guys know that.
Yes.
Like, my stomach is already turning just a bit. But I have to say, in the NFL, anytime you put up a goose egg, you have to get props. Like I don't care what the score of the game was. If it was 50-0, the fact that we were able to hold them to 0 points, the hated rival, the Raiders, and then when you look at the stats that back it up, It wasn't like it was a host of turnovers. It wasn't like, it was like you're talking about 30 plays. Like the Chiefs will run more plays in practice today. Like they have drills that have that one, like more than 30 plays in just one segment of their practices. So the fact that they were able to accomplish that against an NFL team, there should be an immense highlight on that just alone for them to be able to accomplish that.
But Dana, when you look at this game, you think about it. I know the Raiders didn't look good in that game. They looked terrible. Chiefs made them look bad. Have you ever seen anything like that in pro sports where, I get it, man. It's the top of the top that makes pro sports. Those guys are paid too, and they're paid a lot of money for the Raiders. Yeah. But only the top of the top gets to the NFL. And to make an NFL team look like that with NFL caliber players that are just coming off a win the previous week, have you seen anything remotely near that?
Nothing, and it couldn't have happened to a better team. By the way,
they didn't wait for those plays.
That's what made it fun. See, the toughest part of this week has been that midnight rule. You guys have heard me talk about the midnight rule. Normally, that pertains to losses, where Marty Schottenheimer used to tell us, midnight, put it aside, look to the next week. Whether you win or lose, good or bad, had a good game or bad game, the midnight rule comes into play. But when you blow out the Raiders, I feel like that should be extended. There should be like an asterisk that you can enjoy. You can savor that kind of beatdown when you beat the Raiders to that extent. So for me, it's been difficult turning the page. I got players only tonight. I'll be in studio. I'll be basking in it just a little bit longer. So hopefully the listeners and the callers will enjoy that portion of the show as well. But at some point, I got to look to these Commanders. But like, if there's such thing as Christmas in October, to be able to blow out the Raiders in that fashion, like that's probably as good a gift as I would ever want.
We're talking to Dane and Hughes here on 96.5 The Fan. Rashee Rice, of course, made his return last week, and right away we saw that this offense is going to run through him, much like they tried to have that happen a year ago.
How cool was it that, like, there wasn't any kind of taking baby steps or spoon feeding into the offense? It's like, and I've referenced this, think about what Andy Reid and Matt Nagy must have been thinking after the Super Bowl and in preparation for this upcoming season, to be able to, during the offseason, during the dog days of pre-draft, maybe even post-draft, that we got these weapons, and now we can draw up something because we're going to expect to have Rashee Rice back. This was before they knew about the suspension. And as I've referenced Andy Reid, the mad scientist of offense, imagine him being in in his office in the late nights, drumming up offensive plays, concepts, schemes to utilize those weapons. And now having that opportunity to do so. And then, oh, by the way, just to kind of thumb his nose at the Raiders, maybe to some extent to the league, we're going to feed him soon as he steps on the field. I said during the pregame show that I thought it was going to be the second play or the second pass was going to go to Rashee Rice. And I think it was. I think the first pass was to Travis Kelce, and the second pass was to Rashee Rice. I knew that it was going to be a quick play, like a bubble screen or a flip pass, just to get him involved in the game quickly and get him acclimated or reacclimated to the speed. But I felt like that was like there was a method to the madness. There was a reason behind him feeding him, targeting him so much. It was like he didn't just want to let the NFL know that Rashee Rice is back. He wanted like to hammer it into everybody's minds that you better be careful about what we're going to put forth on offense the rest of this season.
Well, Dana, you're the perfect guy to ask for this because you are a former NFL receiver. But that connection receivers have with their quarterback, it seems like every quarterback's got their guy, or in some cases two guys, like Marino with Duper and Clayton. It just seems to me this connection between Rice and Mahomes, That's pretty special. And I know after 3 years, you can give a guy a contract extension. I clearly think the Chiefs should extend Rashee Rice after this year, to be honest with you. But that's hard to find, that connection between that wide receiver, like Kelsey's had with Mahomes. But I don't know how you look at it, but it just seems to me that Rice is like that perfect guy. He seems like Mahomes' guy, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so, and I think justifiably so. He has done everything he can on the field to garner that trust. And you can't take that lightly. When a quarterback realizes that everything is his fault and he gets all the praise and he'll get all the blame. And there's some unfair aspects of being a quarterback. If a ball goes off my hands, like it did for Travis Kelce against Eagles, that's an interception to Patrick Mahomes. If Hail Marys, that's an interception. The breakdowns of pass protection and a sack or a strip sack, that's on the quarterback. But then again, on the flip side, when you have a guy that you've built a relationship with and you built that trust and you're willing to say, you know what, inject him into the offense right now. It's week 7, and I'm going to showcase to everybody that he's my guy. And as a former wide receiver, I always wanted the quarterback to know that the worst thing that's going to happen is that it's going to be incomplete. If you throw me the ball, I'm not going to allow the DB to intercept it. That's the best I can give you. I can't tell you if I can climb the ladder. I don't know if I'm going to be able to create separation. I wasn't a speedster, so it wasn't going to be like I was going to run free down the sideline. But I can tell you that the worst thing that can happen is that it's either 4th down or 3rd down when you throw me the ball. And to have the relationship that we're seeing or we've seen materialize with Patrick and Rashee, and then also the other guys that are coming along. I mean, Patrick did a great job of keeping everybody happy on the field. Now, yeah, it was a blowout win. We'll see when a tightly contested game comes along, and if guys are looking around like, where's my touches or where's my opportunities? But even Tyquan Thornton had his opportunity in that game. Noah Gray had his opportunity in this game. 9 different guys caught passes, and I put that on the shoulders of Patrick, recognizing that he needed to involve everybody, especially Rashee early.
Turning the page a little bit, Danon, over to the Commanders. We know no Jaden Daniels. It'll be Marcus Mariota as the quarterback. But it does seem like Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel are trending in the right direction to be back. What do you make of the Commanders who, I think are dealing with super high expectations after last year? And so far, it's a complete 180 from how things were going a year ago.
I don't think it's any different than when the Lions came in, when other teams that we don't face very often come in, and based on the status that we've set, the bar that we've set as an organization with the successes that we've had in these years, every team comes in believing that they can turn their season around or they can add an exclamation point to whatever season they're having by beating the Chiefs. The Commanders are reeling in some respect, and they're going to come in here. And it's almost like the Raiders, where I said prior to the game that the Raiders, if they wind up winning the game, it would be almost like the equivalent of 3 wins for them in their psyche, in their approach, in their bravado, and maybe their preparation and mindset going into future games. I don't think it's going to be 3 wins for the Commanders, but I can tell you it's going to feel like more than 1 if they come in and win. So I feel like they're recognizing that this is a prime opportunity for them to kind of change the course of their season, not just from a win-loss perspective, but just from a psyche perspective, because you want to have something to latch onto as a player that you're doing things right, that you're doing things and you're moving in a winning fashion. And because of the injuries, that hasn't happened for them as consistently as they expected. This is 1 week where I think that they're probably thinking we can turn everything around with beating the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium.
Have you noticed any difference with this team as far as kind of the attitude and having fun? It seems like they're really getting back to that, kind of what drove this team the last couple of years. Early on in the season, maybe not so much because you didn't have anybody coming back. But with the Raiders game, they ran 2 trick plays, Mahomes trying to draw them off sides. And the play I like best, Danon, was one that didn't count because I think Caliendo was off sides. It was the single wing. Mahomes
Yeah.
and Gardner Minshew in 3-point stances back there, and it was a pump pass to get in the end zone. It did work, and you're going to see this again. They're going to spin around. It just seems like they use this for the Raiders. They got the Raiders coming up. They use these plays, and they'll have the Raiders last game of the season. They can practice stuff for postseason, but it just seems to me just a whole different level of fun this team's having.
Well, that's what Andy Reid has been. That's been the MO for him since he's came over. He talks about letting the players showcase not just their abilities but their personalities, and letting them have involvement and to participate in game plans and structures. I bet you that, Patrick, it wasn't just like Andy said, "Hey, we're going to run this play on 4th and 1, and you just do it this way." I'm sure he allowed Patrick to have the ability to broaden how he was going to present himself at the line of scrimmage and say what he said that everybody's heard, all the expletives and so on and so forth, trying to add a little spice to it. That's what I love about Andy Reid as a coach. That's why when you hear players talk about running through a brick wall for a coach, that's an aspect of it, because he allows us to be us. He allows us to have fun. And implementing that into the game is huge. So, yeah, I think this team is having fun right now. It's always fun when you're winning, Bink. So, you got to take that with a grain of salt. It can flip quickly if you start losing games, especially with the hole that we put ourselves in. But that's the identity of this team. Like, if you look back, even back to Tyreek's days, back to the first Super Bowl after the 2019 season, the Legion of Zoom, the dances, all of those different things, there was an aspect of that being our identity, that we weren't this tightly wound team, that we were a team that was having fun, that were entertaining a lot of fans, and I'm glad we're back to that.
Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. Of course, you'll hear him on the Chiefs radio network this Monday night as the Chiefs welcome in the Commanders. Appreciate it, man. And players only, 6 o'clock, right?
You know it. Players only tonight.
There we
we'll
go.
Have some fun.
Perfect. There you go. Danon Hughes with us here on 96.5 The Fan. Our conversations with Danon brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue. And brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
Trash of the day.
All right, I got a doozy for us today. This is not made up. This is a real story, I promise you guys. I mean, this one's something else. So we go to Thailand.
Oh, we're back?
Back. Yeah, that's right. We were in Thailand a couple weeks ago, weren't we? Back to Thailand. This involves a 51-year-old man and a 1990 Toyota Corolla.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So, according to this story, a man was arrested for performing illegal penis surgery in the back of his 1990s Toyota Corolla.
What the hell, bro?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yep, I know. Yeah. Police caught him in October while doing a penile bead implant procedure in his car. He has no medical license. He learned the procedure from social media videos. He advertised his services on TikTok, claiming he offered at-home services for customers. Police seized beads, local anesthetics, scalpels, needles, and other surgical tools from his makeshift mobile operating room. He admitted to doing this as a side job for about a year. Here were the prices, guys. $30 for pearl implants, $150 for circumcisions, $300 for penis enlargement injections. He faces up to 3 years in prison because, I don't know about you, who doesn't want surgery in the back of a 1990s Corolla, let alone on your penis?
But he offers drive-up services, right? He'll come to your place of business.
He will. Or he did.
Like an oil change, like an oil change thing or something.
Yeah. I mean, who in their right mind, who in their right mind?
Nobody
thinks that surgery in the back of a 1990 Corolla, and I don't even know why the year matters, in a 2025 Corolla.
Did it say how many did?
Why does it? Clearly
I'm curious how many people he actually had as clients.
I'm guessing a lot.
Wow. Making that buck, man.
Jeez.
No, I don't know why you need enlargement
Nobody in their
surgery
right
anyway,
mind, Gold.
but
Nobody in their right mind.
Yeah.
Should or would or should.
Yeah. I'm looking at they basically put out images of the equipment from his car, and it's just like, what are we? He has pearl implants. Someone's going to have to explain that one to me.
How the heck was he allowed?
What's that mean, Drew?
How are they allowed to advertise this? Like, or how the heck is he allowed to do this? Or are they allowed to do this on TikTok? Like, how do you advertise that? Like,
How do you pay taxes on that?
You don't think. You don't. I just
You have
can't
to
get
get
over
a business
that.
license for that?
It's one thing in a crazy story we had a few weeks ago. The person has like a dentist office in their home, and we're like, that's just a bad idea
it
too.
reminds me of that one,
and that's
yes.
a terrible idea as well. Like a fake dentist in their home and their apartment offering cheap root canals, probably not a good idea either. This is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
no way. So, is this the real reason Cody is off?
Oh,
well, it's either that. It's either
that wasn't me. That's from the 913.
It's either that.
You did have your 30th.
Cody can defend himself tomorrow. It's either that or it's the FBI knocked in his door for his illegal poker games. I don't know.
I did not text in Bank that. That's somebody else.
Someone says, what was his actual job if this was his side job? Yeah, like, what is he like? Like, what else are you doing in that 1990s Corolla?
Well, he wasn't highly successful because he had the.
I just learned it on social media.
Like, welcome into my office. Just lay down in the back seat of the Corolla.
No, we're not. As soon as if they say that, we're done.
You say it's perfectly safe. I saw this on YouTube.
Are these these good
exactly
prices?
right.
Like, what does it normally cost? Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
What's it
Do you know what?
typically cost, Drew?
Do you know what penis enlargement surgery normally
No.
costs? I figured I'd
Drew,
ask.
what's that ask? What's
Okay,
what's
I
it cost?
figured I'd ask you, but I wasn't sure. Huh.
You don't know, Bank?
No.
You guys don't know either? Okay.
Me?
Look it up. On your own phone, though.
Imagine going to 3 years in prison, being in prison for 3 years and you're in there and you're talking to your cellmate, I guess, or whatever. What are you in here for? Well, I was giving
Would you
penis
rather be
surgery in the back of my
No.
car.
Would you rather be busted for gambling or penis enlargements?
Neither.
I mean, from the actual how long are you in prison, the sports betting is going to result in people going to prison a lot longer than 3 years.
So you'd rather be in prison for penis enlargements?
I guess so, Bank.
Okay.
I guess so. Because I'll tell you this,
Oh my
if
gosh.
Rozier and these guys are guilty and convicted, they will not be just serving 3 years in prison. I don't think.
Based on some of the videos on social media too, it's hard. How is Terry Rozier gonna? I don't know how he explains the. Oh, geez, excellent. Okay.
What?
What are you looking at, Drew?
Well, Drew, which text?
I'm just
Which text?
looking at the
Which one?
I'm looking at our listeners' text.
Which one?
Oh, you're looking at TikTok.
You can read
That's
most of
the
them.
question. Which one?
Which one do you want to read? Go for it.
I think no. We haven't had a Bink drop in a while. Bink, how about you read it?
I'm not going to read the text line. It's a disaster right now. If I read this, no, I'm not giving you another drop.
Come on, Bink.
Which one do you want?
Pick
he must
one.
have made money hand over fist. That one?
No, all right. Coming up
this-
next.
No, not that one. For the 913, I had a few inches to spare.
All right. Up next, we will get to the Chiefs
There's
red
the
half
drop.
hour. Let's talk about the fourth down on the defensive side and how well the Chiefs are there. Plus, we're going to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Dane Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dane Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. We have the holidays coming up, good comfort food aplenty. With that in mind, we are running a garbage disposal special of $100 off. We only install incinerators. A good working disposal is key to avoiding drain backups, and no one needs surprises these days. So call 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and nothing says Thanksgiving like football. Verizon is giving you a chance to enter and win 2 tickets and travel for 2 to the Thanksgiving Day football game in Texas. Enter for a chance to win tickets to the Thanksgiving Day game in Texas. Don't miss your shot at the ultimate holiday football experience. Visit a local participating Verizon store in Kansas City to enter the Thanksgiving Day game sweepstakes.
No purchase necessary. 18 plus, 50 USDC. Start 10/17, end 11/16. Void where prohibited. For a list of participating stores and official rules, visit Verizon.com/Thanksgiving Game Day Sweeps KC.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You'll be able to build parlays, bet player props, or even ride the live line. Whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back. On December 1st, you'll be able to see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You don't need to be a financial MVP right out of the gate. At Main Street Credit Union, we're here to coach you through it. No matter where you're at, lining up for your first play or deep in the game, we'll help you move the ball forward. From building credit to launching a business. Because here, it's not just about money, it's about progress and having a team that's got your back. Learn more at mainstreetcu.org.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level, on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
At Straight Talk, we know the holidays are your time to say
yes.
So why put up with a wireless company that makes you say
out of data?
Or
no service here?
Switch to Straight Talk and say yes to real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network covered by Verizon. And with a free 5G phone when you activate select plans, someone else in your family can say yes! Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Based on RootMetrics State of 5G Report, United States 1H 2025. Experiences may vary. Not an endorsement of Verizon. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you. Or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com. Or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, a contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Located in KC and Topeka, online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
The Chiefs Red Half Hour is brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Coming up in 10 minutes or so, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, right here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan. We'll see if there's any update on some injuries. I think Trey Smith, back injuries, one to see if there's an update on them as they return to practice today. Obviously, I guess he'll be asked about Josh Simmons. Do they think he'll play Monday? I think there's very little chance he's playing Monday because I don't believe he's actually in Kansas City. So we'll see what Andy Reid has to say about that in a little bit. Also, 1 hour from now, we'll talk fantasy football with Paul Charchian. We'll also get back into the news of the day, the gambling scandal, the FBI investigation, the arrest of an active NBA player, an active NBA head coach related to illegal poker schemes.
Not the Kroll.
And also, and related to sports betting and specifically Terry Rozier. So a lot to get into, a busy day in the sports world, and plenty of thoughts on that. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Of course, the J Southland Tow Service text line is always open, 913-586-7965. You heard Bink there. Bink's filling in for Cody today. Drew Nixon is back producing after being hungover from his birthday. And also, all right, let's talk about the Chiefs defense, who on fourth downs probably hasn't got enough credit. We've talked about fourth down offensive aggressiveness and how well they've been doing there. But Bink, full disclosure, must have told me about this stat 7 times in the last 24 hours, guys. 7 different times.
Fired up about it then.
Maybe 4 times.
Last night I did.
And
this morning.
And again in the next meeting. Anyway, you're excited about this because you don't think enough people are talking about how good the Chiefs defense has been on fourth down.
Yeah, everybody's talking about the offense and the aggressiveness, and I get it, man. 12 of 15 on fourth down on offense. That's 80%. Okay, you go back to 2022, 9 of 12, 75%. They didn't do it very much. You look back at it, 75% of the time they got it on fourth downs in 22, but they didn't do it very much. But it's 12 times. They've already done 15 times on offense. That's offense.
Okay.
Defense, there's this number that's coming out here. Chiefs are allowing teams just 4 of 14 fourth down opportunities. So going for it on the Chiefs on fourth down is what a lot of teams used to do because that's the way to beat the Chiefs was by putting points on, not just field goals, scoring touchdowns. And teams would be willing to do it. And the good teams would do that. You'd see teams go for it on fourth down all the time. And it would frustrate you because the Chiefs' numbers through the years, it was almost better than a coin flip. 2022, 20 of 35. So 20 times teams were successful. They ran it 35 times going for it on fourth down. That's 57%. 2023, 13 of 28, 46%. 2024 last year, teams were 52.2% going for it on fourth down against the Chiefs. The odds say do it. The odds say go for it on fourth down because the Chiefs were basically over 50% teams getting first downs on them, which I think was big because that's kind of how to stop the Chiefs is scoring points. This year, much different. 4 of 14, 28.6% the defense is giving up on fourth down. So, yes, I know it's out there. A lot of people talking about, the offense and how aggressive they are and how good they are on fourth down. What about Spags' defense? 28.6%. And keep in mind, a couple of these were tush pushes.
I was going to say, out of the 4, 2 of them were tush push.
Yeah, so this number even goes further down if we take the Eagles out of the equation. But with the Eagles in the equation, still just 28% of fourth downs are being garnered by other teams when essentially, if you have better than a 50% chance to do it, you're going to do it. Because the odds would favor you because it's tilted more than 50%. Yeah. You're going to do it. Because how many times are you frustrated? A team would have 4th and 1, you go, and they're going for it. You'd be on the 35, you said they're going for it. They have to do it because this is how you beat the Chiefs. But when they're sitting here and you're only getting 28.6% of those conversions, you're putting Mahomes back on the field with good field position. You don't even have to worry about your return game. So the defense is doing their job. A lot of talk about the offense, but hey, this defense, got to give them up to it. 28.6% fourth down conversions. So they're definitely flipping it to now. You might see teams think about the odds because they do look at these analytics and say, maybe we'll punt here. The Chiefs have had very good success stopping fourth downs, better than 3 out of 10 chance of not getting that first down. So teams are more willing to punt now instead of going for it like Dan Campbell does all the time.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a great sign for the Chiefs defense that these opponents that are going to try to be aggressive. And I think they're going to still try to be aggressive because now you have a Chiefs offense once again that is one of the best in football, and you feel like you got to keep up with them.
They're freaking 80% on offense doing it.
You feel like you got to keep up with them. So if you're, whether it's Dan Campbell or not, I mean, this Monday night, it's Dan Quinn, okay? It's Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator. They're going to feel like the Chiefs are probably going to put up, let's call it 28 points at least, and they're going to be ultra aggressive. Can the Chiefs continue to stop that? That's been a huge switch for them because it's also set up some short fields. Now, this past week, that didn't matter. The Chiefs had
Kareem Hunt's been
drives.
I think it's only 2 times he hadn't picked up that 1 yard.
Oh, on the offensive side. I'm just saying that I think that not related to fourth downs. I'm saying I think the Chiefs' offense being back to a top offense is why we're going to continue to see opponents go for fourth down because they're worried that they can't miss a possession of not scoring points. They got to keep up with the Chiefs. Whereas, early on in the season, if you were Philadelphia, when the Chiefs' offense was not going well, you weren't worried about the Chiefs putting up 30 on you. And so Philly's going to be aggressive on 4th and 1s because of the tush push. But I guess what I'm saying is I think teams are going to feel the necessity to be aggressive again. It's been a couple years since we've discussed how teams feel like they got to play the Chiefs differently. I think we're back to that.
Yeah, and the good news is the Chiefs are stopping it.
Yeah.
That's the good news about it because these teams have always felt this way. At least the good teams, the credible teams, would go for a fourth down against the Chiefs because their odds were actually in favor of them picking up the first down. Now it's much, much different. You're putting Mahomes back on the field with good field position because just giving up 28% of fourth downs, that makes you think about that. That makes you think about not putting Mahomes back on the field if you're other teams. But I just think this defense and what they're doing on fourth down should be talked about.
Did you mention where does that rank? Is that first in the where do the Chiefs if they're
it's
giving
second in percentage?
Okay,
but they've had more run against them.
All right.
So you're obviously going to 25%. I think is the league best. Chiefs are 28, but more teams have run it against them.
I would love to know, like last year, what was the best? Like what would
I'll tell you
the number one if you could look up. Last year, the best defense against fourth down conversion rate. Who was that, and what did it take? What was the percentage?
I'll tell you that in just a second. If we're looking at that,
because are the Chiefs already pacing to being? You said right now they're second, but
because right now, just specifically on fourth down conversions, which is huge, because I was so tired of teams doing it. The number one team in the clubhouse is the Patriots. They're 25%.
This year,
yes, this year. Okay. Teams they've only run 8 fourth downs on them. They've converted 2, so it's higher than the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are at 14. So the Chiefs are much more than that. Now, regular season last year in the same situation, the Vikings led the way, 37%. Right. So the Chiefs are 9 points higher than last year's leader in the clubhouse was the Vikings at 37%, and the Lions were number 2. Teams went for fourth downs 29 times against the Lions last year,
again,
and 41% against the Lions. That success rate, because of all the injuries they had, teams thought they could push them. But to the Lions' credit, they stopped them.
Yeah, I think the reason why, this is kind of my point about the Chiefs, and the reason why teams did it against the Lions, they felt they had to keep up with the Lions' offense. I think that's why you're going to see the Chiefs towards the top in this, not just percentage, but attempts against them on
2
fourth down.
2 years ago, 40% led the way.
Teams are going to think that they have to go for fourth downs against the Chiefs, the same way that teams felt like they know Dan Campbell and the Lions are going to do it, so they have to keep up. And we'll keep an eye on that, though, Bink, moving forward. Up next, we're going to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We'll find out a little bit more about some of the injuries heading into the Commanders game, and also a little bit more about what the Chiefs think of Marcus Mariota starting this one.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Creed Humphrey. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name. And the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel. Because with FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot, you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores the first or last touchdown of the game, you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to take a shot at the jackpot. That's FanDuel.com/Alex for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Prize pool will be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets with expired 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
It's football season, and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's game day, and nothing says Chiefs football like the aroma of a tailgate grill. Kick off your pregame party with a Kingdom Meat Bundle from Hy-Vee. Get 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 pork chops, 4 bratwurst, and 4 chuck patties for just $30. Plus, get a 10-cent per gallon fuel saver. Toss in some chips and dip, side dishes, and Chiefs-themed baked goods. Score the extra point with your favorite tailgate beverage from Hy-Vee Wine and Spirit. Just one stop for all your game day needs, only at Hy-Vee.
Engines rumble, tires smoke, and the barbecue's fired up with Boost and Barbecue. This Friday and Saturday at Flying H Drag Strip in Odessa. See the fastest streetcars in the world battle it out on the strip, plus burnouts. A huge barbecue competition, car show, and kids zone. Kids 12 and under get in free. Then Saturday night, country star Chris Jansen takes the stage live. It's 2 full days of racing, music, and mouth-watering fun you won't want to miss. Get your tickets now at boostandbarbecue.com.
Things are getting spooky in South Kansas City, but the deals at Rob Side Ford, they're scary good. Rob Side is with me. Hey, Rob, what's haunting the lot this month?
No tricks, just treats. From Broncos to Explorers to F-150s and commercial vehicles, we've got the inventory, the selection, and the lowest prices in Kansas City.
And no creepy sales tactics, just non-commissioned staff and real value.
Exactly. And while we're on the scary stuff, Kevin, your brisket from last weekend still haunts me.
Okay, dry rub shouldn't actually mean dry.
But here's the real flavor. KC's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars with nearly 3,000 reviews. Voted best car dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
If you want simple, upfront, and easy, Rob Side Ford is the treat you've been looking for. Visit 135th and State Line and buy right with Rob Site.
Rob Site Ford, ROBSIGHT.com. And Kevin, leave the cooking to us this Halloween.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders, If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com. Or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
96.5 The Fan is your exclusive home for Chiefs football, with pregame starting 3 hours before kickoff with Josh Briscoe. Then it's the call of the game with Mitch Holtis, Dayton Hughes, and Josh Klingler.
Touchdown! Kansas City! Travis Kelce owning this game!
Followed by postgame coverage featuring exclusive one-on-one interviews with Andy Reid and Chiefs players inside the locker room. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Jay Binkley is in for Cody Tapp today. A lot of texts coming in thinking it's suspicious that Cody's gone today, given the news of the day. We'll have to address it tomorrow. But Cody will be back tomorrow. At least that's what we were told. But you guys wonder why I haven't gone to any of his poker games on the weekend. Well, here you go. Bink.
I haven't been to one either. So,
Drew hasn't gone either.
And will not.
I've just had the cheese.
This is an above board show. Those of us that are on the show today, above board.
It is funny how often, all of the time, Cody's the one who does say we are an above board show now. I know that you're obviously a part of it, as am I, but Cody feels the need to say it multiple times.
Well,
I don't know if there's any.
I'm just saying, on the day of one of the biggest FBI stories in a while for illegal betting, including illegal poker games, he's not here.
Kidding.
So I don't know. I haven't got a text from him today. Have you?
I don't think. I know
not
I
a
am
single
not
text.
either.
Not a single text. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully he's back. If not, Bink, are you good tomorrow if we need you?
Yeah, if Cody's in some trouble.
Okay, just making sure. That's good to know. Just backup plan. I want to make sure we're set up. We are awaiting Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They are expected to speak to the media, as they do each and every, usually Wednesday, but it's Monday Night Football, so the schedule gets bumped back a day. That is why they're going to speak here on a Thursday. Looking forward to hearing from them. Especially, I want to make sure things are good on the Trey Smith front. I know Fescoe yesterday, I think it was, reported that he was hearing that things are trending in the right direction, essentially, for Trey Smith. Let me see if I have the exact verbiage of the tweet from yesterday. But Andy Reid, after the game, didn't seem all that concerned about it. And then, Bob yesterday was tweeting about Trey Smith and said, per source, the Chiefs believes Trey Smith's going to be okay. Good news on a Wednesday. Let's see how the week progresses. So I don't expect us to get any negative news on Trey Smith today.
Yeah, no, he talked about it a little bit this morning, too. The same information he had heard about that. But, yeah, Trey Smith, man. And, again, they ran that one touchdown play where it was Caliendo. Went right to where Caliendo was when he jumped off sides, but that play went right to him. Could you imagine had that been Trey Smith? It would have gone just smoothly right into the end zone. But, yeah, such an important part of this offense, him and Creed, when they work in tandem, the holes that they can make, because we clearly saw that against the Raiders, even though the play didn't count.
Do you agree with the conversation Cody and I were having yesterday about Josh Simmons and Jalen Moore? And that is, hey, look, if Simmons doesn't play Monday, and I don't expect him to, I don't think he's in Kansas City. So that's 3 games. We were saying if Jalen Moore keeps playing well, the team is winning, the offense is rolling, it's not going to be an automatic, it's Josh Simmons, let's say he's back, hopefully. Let's say it's 4 weeks from now. I don't know. Let's say it's 4 weeks. That he's just back in as a starting left tackle. Jalen Moore will be the left tackle unless play suffers or injury.
Andy's a big...
For this year, not long term.
Andy's a big believer of, continuity, guys practicing. We've seen what he does with his injury reports. Like, if you don't typically practice Friday, you don't play. Some guys get that extra treatment, like Chris Jones or something on the day, and L'Jarius Sneed used to not practice on Friday, you'd see him starting on Sunday. Very few players. It's kind of like that Parcells, Lawrence Taylor treatment, right? Andy Reid believes you practice during the week. You build that continuity, then you play. And things are working right now. This offensive line looks really good the last couple of weeks. And Jalen Moore has looked outstanding with what he's done. You understand why the Chiefs were so quick to make that move with Jalen Moore. They saw him as someone that could really contribute to this offensive line, extremely versatile.
All right, let's go out to Arrowhead. Andy Reid is speaking right now on 96.5 The Fan.
As far as the injuries go, the guys that won't go today are Kareem Hunt, who has a bone bruise on his knee. He's going to be okay, but we're going to have him sit out today. And then Trey he's got low back spasms. And so we'll see if that doesn't, it's getting better. We'll just see how it goes. And then Josh, and my update for you with Josh would just be, there's communication. I'm not going to get into all of it. Everything's positive. It's not a negative situation. So he's taking care of family. Other than that, look forward to the challenge of playing Washington, and we know they're a good football team. A veteran group of players that are good football players. And they've got a head coach that I consider right at the top of his profession at this time. He's as good as anybody, and Dan. And then he's got good coordinators there. So offensively, defensively, special teams, they've got explosive players. They've got good guys up front on both sides of the ball. And Mariota, we know, has come in here and won a game. So we get it, that he's a good football player. And we don't slight that at all. So with that, we've got a good week of preparation as we go forward here. So with that, time's yours.
Coach, you mentioned other head coaches, and this week the Pro Football Hall of Fame narrowed its finalist list of head coaches under consideration. One, were you surprised that Mike Holmgren did not get in last year? And two, what's your argument for or against Marty Schottenheimer?
Yeah, I was very surprised that Mike didn't get in last year. At the time, I've said this before, but at the time, I didn't think, when I was working for him, I didn't think anybody did it better than Coach Holmgren. And I still feel that way today after being a head coach and so on. So he had a great feel for the whole thing. And then as far as Marty Schottenheimer goes, I had the utmost respect for Marty. I think he's well deserving to be in the Hall of Fame too. He would go down not only as a great player, but also as a great coach. So a lot of success in his career in a couple different spots, and so and phenomenal guy on top of that. Yeah.
Just considering Trey's a little bit banged up, Mike Kelly and doing just your confidence in him.
Yeah. So we've always looked at Mike as a starter. I think all the guys do, coaches do. So everybody's got the confidence that when he comes in, you just pick up and go. And I mean, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about him. I think I'm just speaking for the gang here.
Could you speak to the progress that Rashard Smith has made?
Yeah, he's done a nice job of picking it up. That position, you've got to know the pass game, the run game, and then you have these protections that you've got to take care of. And they get a little crazy, the protections do, with all the different looks that defenses are throwing at you, and then also, as many protections as we have, different types of protections we have. And he's hung right in there and done a good job. We've been able to give him a little bit more each week in different roles. We're moving them all over the place. I wouldn't see that part changing. We're going to keep utilizing his talents, hard worker, all that. The intangible stuff's great. So.
Performing very well, especially in those short yardage situations. You knew he was the back to kind of try to do that, but overall, as a team, performed well in short yardage situations. Just what's been the key to that success?
Yeah, Coach Heck he sets that up, and I think the scheme is good, but I also think Kareem has a special feel for that, and Pop too. But Pop jumped in and he had one nice short yardage play too. So, but as far as the run game goes, Kareem he's always had a knack for that, and he's a load on top of that. He's a big kid, strong.
Coach, I kind of like 5 snaps where you had Hollywood, Xavier, and Rasheed on the field at the same time. We talk so much about getting them on the field at the same time, but how much of it is also just the advantage of having those 3 guys in waves too?
Yeah, listen, they all contribute and contributed in that game. You've got Thornton, who also stepped up over the last few weeks, and then Juju in the mix. So you got a load of guys here, and we try to keep them all going. So you can kind of throw fastballs out there the best way you can. And we weren't counting numbers of those 3 on the field at the same time, but I know when they were out there, it looked good.
Washington looks like they've been a little bit up and down on defense this year. What do they look like right now as you guys get ready to face them?
Yeah, that front, again, we've played against some crazy fronts here, so it's different than years past. This group is right there. I mean, that front is an explosive bunch, and their pass game, I mean, they're as good as anybody rushing the passer. So we'll have our work cut out for that. And then their linebacking crew is good. They've been banged up a little bit on the back end, but I think they're starting to get people back and kind of in place where they want them. So, yeah.
Is there anything you want to sort of build upon with Rasheed now that it's week 2, after seeing him through a game?
Yeah, so Nate, we set out to get him 40%, 40% or around that area. And it came out to 41%. So the way it worked out, he didn't play the fourth quarter, so and probably wanted to, but I think if you increase it from there, you keep it increasing. He came out feeling good, so that was a positive. Now he gets another week of practice under his belt, and I think he can keep his numbers going up.
Coach, with Omar Norman Lott going to injured reserve, 2-part question here. What's your comfort level with the interior of the defensive line? And secondly, is Mike Bannon an option to slide in there and play more snaps?
Yeah, so Mike does. He jumps in there, and I mean, he does now. He gets snaps in there. So, but he's an option for sure. He's a good football player. Yeah, I'm okay though. I'm good with where we're at. Although I thought Omar was coming on for sure. He's going to be a good football player after he gets this thing worked on. So.
Coach, it's kind of been a roller coaster with Juwan Taylor and the penalties and everything. You seem to have it. I know you guys were talking about it's got to change, it's got to turn it. It seemed to. Was there anything that in particular got him, locked in?
Yeah, I think it was just his mindset on things and making sure that he took care of business there. I think he's done a great job with it, and I think that'll continue. I'm not saying that every lineman has one here and there, but you don't want to stack them up. That's not a good thing. Right now he's playing real good football, and that's a plus. Even when he was jumping off, his numbers were rich, and as far as win percentage goes. But take care of that business, and he's got something going right now.
Bye.
Andy, you've spoken of this before, but it seems like Jalen Moore has a list to beat, and the continuity in your line is something you haven't really had that way for a little while. What's that done for you? I mean, it's probably self-evident, but what's that doing for you to be able to have that?
Sure. As long as those guys do well, it makes everybody's job a little bit easier. And I mean, none of it's easy, but listen, it helps everybody out. Other people benefit from the line doing well, from the quarterback, receivers, running backs, and right now they're holding their own in there for sure.
And we've talked a lot about Patrick's sort of faith in that and the confidence he gets from it. Is it a little different coaching when you can count on it more the way you've been able to this season?
Yeah, I think every coach would say, that if the line's doing good, you're willing to call certain things or not call certain things. But yeah, for sure.
Last one, Sam.
And I just wanted to clarify something on you said you had positive communication with Josh, but you guys are in the same spot as wait and see on any potential timeline.
It's been positive. He's just taking care of business. So that's the main thing right here. When you deal with this, that's what you do. And he's been very good about communicating it. Okay.
All right, so that was Andy Reid. By the way, of course, you're listening to 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1, HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Station. We're going to hear from Mahomes in a second. The key part, it was a follow-up at the end there. Initially, Andy Reid, I would say, gave us the most we've heard, at least positive-wise.
Update for you with Josh would just be, there's communication. I'm not going to get into all of it. Everything's positive. It's not a negative situation. So he's taking care of family.
The last part is something we have not heard at any other time that Andy Reid has spoke about Josh Simmons being. You heard it the same way I did. He said he's taking care of family. Now, a week ago when he spoke, I think it was Friday, maybe it was last Wednesday, I think it was Friday, Andy said initially it's a family matter. Then there was a follow-up question, and he said it's personal. Today, he says he's taking care of family. So it's the most positive update we've gotten, but I also don't know if we still know. Then at the very end, you heard Sam McDowell, I believe it was, ask the follow-up today.
It's been positive. He's just taking care of business. So that's the main thing right here. When you deal with this, that's what you do. And he's been very good about communicating it.
I find that interesting only because we had Nate Taylor on the show earlier in the week on Tuesday, and I don't have the audio cut saved in front of me, but Nate was pretty clear in saying that when, quote, hopefully cooler heads prevail, and I asked him to follow up on that, and he said basically it relates to the communication, that the Chiefs, it sounds like, were frustrated perhaps with some of the communication. So it's interesting. Today it was clearly an emphasis for Andy Reid to say, no, the communication has been great. Well, the communication has been awesome. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the vibe I got today, Bink.
Yeah, it was more positive than negative. It's good. That was all positive things to hear, though. He brought it up himself, the situation, before he even got any questions on it. So he brought it up himself. So addressing the situation said, hey, it's more of a positive. There has been communication. All these things are good, and it's a positive sign. So all those things were good.
Yeah, today's update was good.
Today was good.
Again, earlier in the week, there was a lot of noise out there that
confusion.
He's not communicating well, and they're frustrated. And today it was all like, no, the communication's great. To me, it's not a coincidence that was the main focus. Now, it's the most we've heard Andy Reid willing to speak at all about it. He still didn't say for sure, is he going to – I think we all assume he's not going to play Monday. But
that's the only question there.
Yeah, that'd be the only thing for confirmation. But remember, today is like a Wednesday in their world, even because of Monday Night Football. So as far as the other injury stuff with Trey Smith, I wouldn't be too worried yet about not being at practice due to a lower back spasm. Kareem Hunt, bone bruise, won't practice. Andy seemed fairly positive about the long-term outlook there. And remember, today would be like on a normal week if a Wednesday they didn't practice. Let's see tomorrow and into Saturday, because Saturday is like a Friday practice for them, if that makes sense.
And the one thing with Kareem Hunt, we know he got injured in the game. Is like, oh, man, they need Kareem Hunt because that's been that guy picking up at short yardage first downs. Then what Kelsey told Tracy Wolfson, that he's going to be fine. Remember, Kelsey was acting as the correspondent there on the sideline. That was good. And I know there's so many things out there that the Chiefs are looking for defensive line help at the trade deadline on November 4th and edge help. Well, yeah, no duh. Of course the Chiefs are going to be looking. I mean, seriously, when you lose a guy like Norman Lott, that's easy for any analyst to say, oh, the Chiefs need help at defensive line or at edge. Of course they do. But the running back situation, I think, you can't really put it to the side either. You can't just say, well, they're fine. You're fine until one play happens. And you saw how quickly that thing happened with Kareem Hunt. It looks like it's going to be fine, according to Andy Reid, and Kareem Hunt will play. But it just shows you how delicate that running back room can be, because after the game, Andy Reid's talking about, well, I have my guy to catch the football and Burchard. The short yardage guys, Kareem Hunt, and Pacheco's more of your every damn back. That's true. But you're so close in the NFL to activating Elijah Mitchell to be active for this team. So I know that a lot of the talk is defensive line and edge, which they clearly need. That needs to be priority one. But don't poo-poo this team needing a running back either. I don't think that things have just been solved. Now, Pacheco has more yards than Mahomes now, so that's a good sign. But I don't think having a running back in here to give it more stability, because, again, if you're without Kareem Hunt, this guy's a huge part of what this team does on 3rd and 1 and 4th. And we're talking about this 80% conversion rate. A lot of that's Kareem Hunt. And you lose that dude. So, yeah, the running back room at this point, game 8, okay, you still got half a season to go. I don't think you should totally just wash it away and say, well, they're not getting a running back. They're perfectly fine there. Yeah, it's a game-by-game basis.
I think they, barring a more serious injury, are not trading for a running back. I think they feel their offense is clicking, that they do have a role for each of the three. I'm not saying that I feel amazing about the backfield. I'm not saying that in the offseason it clearly doesn't have to be addressed. It clearly does. Kareem Hunt has got an expiring contract. Isaiah Pacheco as well. We can continue this conversation. I think it's interesting, but Patrick Mahomes just stepped up to the microphone. Let's hear from him.
I mean, every game you can look at and you find things that you can be better at. For us, I think it's just going and looking at those plays where we didn't execute it at the level that we wanted to. And we were able to cover that up with some other big plays in certain drives. But at the same time, you learn from the mistakes that you made throughout the game, and you see what you did well and try to maximize that as well. And so it's a steady building process that we have to continue to get better.
How impressive is it what Jalen's been able to do these past 2 games in place of Josh?
Yeah, he's done a great job, I mean, he's been ready. He comes to work every single day, true pro. He comes to work with the mentality of being ready for that next snap. And so he's done it all throughout training camp, and now he's done it in the regular season, and that's the reason that he's here.
Patrick, it's been a couple of years since you guys, for lack of a better term, made it look so easy on offense. How much more entertaining is it? How much more fun is it when you feel like you guys can just kind of do whatever you want?
Yeah, I mean, I think just having success. You train so hard to go out there and have success on every drive, and whenever you're able to go out there and do that, man, it is something that you're happy about. But at the same time, you have to continue to get better and better. And in this league, defenses adjust and they challenge you to be even better. And so we'll continue to build. I feel like we still have a long ways to go, and we're just kind of hitting our stride. Let's continue to get better and better as the season goes on.
Patrick, you've talked about how that post snap count and the play at the goal line, like you actually practice these things. How many of those plays do you actually have, like, at your disposal, and are they important for like morale, to lighten the mood, to like make things fun?
I mean, I don't know if he ever said. I think Coach does do that. He kind of gives us some plays that we can work on and kind of keep the energy level high, because you're trying to execute it when you get a chance to run it in the game. But there's a lot of plays that we work on, especially throughout training camp and stuff like that. And then there's plays that come to us with every single week that they're new and that are innovative and are made for specific situations. You just don't know if that situation is going to happen this week or if it's going to happen at the end of the year. I mean, everybody talks about the Rose Bowl play that we had. That we worked on that from OTAs, and we didn't run it till the Super Bowl. So, I mean, that's just stuff you have to stay on the details, because you never know when that exact moment's going to come up.
Patrick, I only counted 5 snaps where you had Xavier, Rasheed, and Hollywood on the field at the same time. How much of it is not just those few opportunities where you're going to have all 3 out there, but now that you've got those guys coming in waves, so you've got 1 or 2 every single down?
Yeah, I think it speaks to the room. I mean, that we have a lot of talented guys there, and so you never know where it's going to hit. And obviously, Rasheed's going to get a big amount of targets and receptions with Xavier, same way, and then Hollywood. But at the same time, Taekwon can hit a 30-yard completion at any moment. Juju can hit a 15, 20-yard completion at any moment. Rashad can hit a 20-yard completion at any moment. I mean, you don't know where it's going to come from, and so that's a luxury for us, is that you want to keep defenses guessing. And I mean, all these guys are going to get a lot of catches, and they're going to have their moment, but they'll be ready to go whenever that moment comes.
This week you have Cliff Kingsbury again this week. What are some of your best memories from being recruited to Texas Tech and playing there?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the first people I would say that truly believed in me in playing the quarterback position, and so he gave me a ton of advice of refining me, but letting me still just be me and play to my strengths. And so a great coach, a great person that I still stay in touch with, not as much this week, but throughout my career. And he helped me get to where I'm at today because he didn't put me in a box and tell me I need to play quarterback this way. He let me just go out there and be myself and be the how I play the way that got me there. And I think that's something that's special about him as a coach.
You mentioned Bouchard. Just how about the progress he's made in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, he's made a ton of progress, and he'll continue to get better and better. I mean, Coach Reed's offense is hard, especially for that running back position, because you have to do so many things as far as running, catching, blocking, all the different things. And he's been a sponge, man. He's been learning a ton, and whenever he gets his opportunities, he's making plays happen. And I think he's just another weapon in this offense, and he'll continue to get more and more snaps. And then he's done a great job in special teams as well, which I think gets lost in the fold of things, which is huge on our team.
Patrick, did you have people that did want you feel like, I'm not asking for names, if you want to
Yeah.
volunteer names, great, but did you feel that in the recruitment process?
I wouldn't say that, but I just always, you kind of hear that undertone of that talking of you can't play that way. Coach Kingsbury never ever forced me to be just a pocket passer or hold the ball a certain way. He just let me. He would obviously help with my footwork and stuff like that and going through progressions, but he would just let me play when it came to playing. He's like, once you get to the game, you got to go out there and just play your game. And same with Coach Reed and Nash. When I got here, it was they wanted to keep refining, but at the same time, they want me to go out there and just play the game the way it got me here. And so I've been blessed because you can go to some situations, and I've seen quarterbacks in other situations that their game gets kind of boxed in and they don't get to be the best version of themselves.
I know it's a long time ago when you got recruited, but we'd heard stories before that, like, Texas was wanting you maybe change positions and things like that. Were those things happening when you were in high school? Or?
A little bit. Texas, I don't know if it was that bad. I mean, it was just more of I went to like one of those like recruiting days, junior day, sophomore day, whatever it was. And they told me they wanted me to. I went to walk to the quarterbacks, and they were like, "We're actually bringing you here for the safeties." So that was kind of. At the time I did play safety, I had a lot of picks, so I understood that, but I knew that I didn't like tackling people, so I knew that wasn't going to be for me. And then most teams in colleges thought I was going to play baseball, and I think that was something that scared away a lot of colleges, just because my dad played and other guys were kind of getting recruited at quarterback position and then going and playing baseball. But I ended up sticking with football, and Texas Tech believed that I could play both in college, and then end up choosing football at the end.
I know you're not playing the other quarterback, but this is a matchup a lot of people looked at when the schedule came out that Jaden Naaman was going to play, and he's not going to play this time. It's a little bit disappointing that you're not going to both be out there doing this.
Yeah, I mean, you want to go up against the best of the best, and Jaden, with the way he played last year, man, he's in that category, and so he's a talented football player. I've watched play since he was at Arizona State, the LSU, and to now in the NFL, and Cliff speaks extremely highly of him as a person, and so I'm hoping he gets healthy sooner rather than later, but at the same time, man, I know Marcus can play too. I mean, I've seen it firsthand at Arrowhead in the playoffs, and I've seen him play throughout my entire career and have a lot of successful games, including this year. And so we understand it's still going to be a great challenge going up against a great football team and a guy that's had a lot of success in the NFL.
Going back to that recruitment process you were just talking about, it's that kind of mentality of like, hey, I got something to prove still. Does that still carry you to this day, just those memories of that?
Not necessarily. I think I'm just wired that I like want to win. I think that's more than anything. It's not about proving anyone wrong or anything like that. It's just like I'm here and I've gotten this opportunity. Why not maximize it? And so I didn't get a lot of offers, but at the time I didn't know anything different. I was so excited when Texas Tech offered me that I had a chance to go to college and play football. And looking back on it now and watching my tape, I'm like, I would have offered me, but at the time I knew nothing different.
What are your memories of that, the Titans game that you mentioned, just from your personal experience of that game?
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a crazy swing in momentum, and there was a couple of plays here and there that kind of changed the whole thing. If you talk about the Derek Johnson sack, fumble that didn't get called, and then Marcus making that crazy play where the ball gets tipped, he catches it, scores a touchdown, and then Travis getting hurt right before the half. I mean, there was just so many momentum. So many plays that were had so much momentum that we didn't capitalize on, which I've learned from is like you can't let those plays completely change the game. You have to find ways to manage that, and so definitely a learning lesson. Even though I didn't get to play in that game, a learning lesson for me on how big football games, big plays really do matter.
Do you feel any kind of connection to Marcus through the quarterback documentary? Was it enlightening for you about him and you guys going through that same kind of thing, or just separate matters?
100%. I mean, just the quarterback position in general, man. You see it like it's not always just top. Like you have a lot of great moments, but there's times throughout every season. Even for me, like you go through these adverse time, and you have to push through to be even better. And I'm proud of him, man, because he's had a lot of great moments. He's had moments that he wanted to get back, but at the same time, he's persevered and got better and better. And now he's in a great spot now where he's obviously teaching Jaden, but when he comes in the game, man, you can tell he's one of the top tier backup quarterbacks that's going to go out there and have success whenever his number's called. And that's a special spot to be, and I think he's done a great job and had a great career in the NFL.
All right, so that was Patrick Mahomes speaking to the media today ahead of Monday Night Football. Today, first day of practice for this upcoming week with the schedule being pushed back as well. A lot of questions about Cliff Kingsbury and Texas Tech. I don't know if it's just because we've heard a lot of those stories and stuff before. I don't know. That storyline doesn't do much for me for this game.
Well, it's the biggest knock on when Mahomes came out of the draft. People kept talking about Kingsbury's record.
Sure.
But I'll say this.
But we've had these conversations.
No, it did.
Cliff's been in the NFL for like 7 years.
But I think it did help him, and the Chiefs did look a lot at Cliff Kingsbury's offense and what they did with RPOs. That's what they did. But they had the worst scoring defense in the country, 128th in the country. So Mahomes had to score a touchdown every time out. I do think that Kingsbury's a big part of Mahomes' development.
I'm not disputing that. I think Cliff was key. I'm just saying those questions.
Oh, I know.
We've had that. I mean, that was 3 years ago
like
when they played Arizona when Cliff was the head coach there.
It's like a barbecue question.
I feel like we've had this discussion about how close he is with Cliff 100 times since he's been in the league. I mean, in 8 years from now, are they still going to ask him what he makes of Cliff in college?
I hope so.
I don't know. I'm nitpicking. It's just more. That's a personal thing. Most of you maybe don't care. I'm like, whatever. I'm wasting my time. That's all.
Before he took over Arizona, remember we went to UCLA for a cup of coffee, never even coached a game?
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury. I was always advocating in the beginning, it's like years ago when Mahomes first got here, when Texas Tech was going to fire Kingsbury. And I was like, Chiefs need to bring him on as a consultant. They need to bring him on. For the way he works with Mahomes and everything, having him on this
He's
staff.
probably going to be a head coach
But he took that head
next
coaching
year.
job again. I know. So things changed for Cliff going forward. But I was thinking, man, if he's just sitting out there, that would have been a perfect fit for Mahomes.
I mean,
Not
I know
that he needs it, but
Jaden Daniels' availability maybe hurt some of it, but in the way the Commander season is going. But Cliff Kingsbury, I think, will be a head coach next year in the NFL again.
You still like the Jaden Daniels pick? I do. I liked him coming out of the draft.
Yesterday, Cody and I were discussing that. Some people now, because Drake May's playing great football, and he's in the MVP conversation at least. Would you rather have Drake May to start your franchise or Daniels? And Cody and I both said Jaden Daniels. A lot of people texted in and said they'd rather have Drake May because of the durability question. And I think I was talking to somebody who does radio in D.C. yesterday, and that's a huge topic there right now. And people are pushing back on the comparison. And even Jaden Daniels' own mother was pushing back on the comparison to RG3 because people are saying, oh, he's starting to get hurt. He is not hurt nearly at the level. It's not the same type of injuries or anything like that. I don't think that's fair.
Used to be Caleb Williams or him because that was 1 and 2.
But now because Drake May's playing great,
I understand.
People are saying, oh, would you rather have Jaden Daniels or Drake May? I want to see if Jaden Daniels continues to have an injury problem, but I don't think it's fair to say he's headed down the RG3 path.
Think of this. Josh Jabot from the AP put a tweet out the other day. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Because that year where they fired Josh McDaniels, he had gone 3-5. Again, stickler, you don't fire your coach. You let him just continue on if you want to get a good draft pick. Antonio Pierce comes in. They go 5-4. That essentially costs the Raiders Drake May.
Fair? Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
But they did get Brock Bowers. So
coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk fantasy football with Paul Charchian. We get his perspective on Week 8. Also, who to start tonight, Thursday Night Football, Chargers and Vikings. But first, let's get to it. A little All-32, and then we'll also get back into the biggest story of the day coming up at 1 o'clock. That, of course, centers around the NBA and the gambling fraud, alleged fraud, FBI investigation, including a current head coach and a current player, a current assistant coach as well. All-32, Thursday Night Football. If the Chargers lose tonight, to me, the division conversation is over for them. And I understand that's even with them with 3 division wins in their pocket. They got more division wins than the Chiefs do right now, but they would have lost 4 out of 5 if they lose tonight to Minnesota, to a team that's starting Carson Wentz, who has just not been good. An organization in Minnesota right now that I think has questions about J.J. McCarthy. It's not just the injury. I don't think they believe in the current development right now of McCarthy. So it's still Carson Wentz. The Chargers have to win tonight. If they do not, they are not going to compete in the AFC West this year. And I understand, like you'll point out the division wins and that they'll have the same amount of wins heading into the weekend as the Chiefs and all that. You lose 4 out of 5 in the direction it's trending. You don't recover from that, in my opinion. But if they win tonight, I think you start to look at their schedule ahead, and you say, all right, they're getting, Khalil Mack back soon, maybe both their linemen. Quentin Johnston's already back. Amari Hampton's on the IR. He's not out for the season. So things will look up for the Chargers, but they can't lose 4 or 5.
No, they can't, but the one thing that needs to be put in the equation is they've been out 3 tackles because Pipkins has started 5, but Trey Pipkins is out, who is their right tackle once the Joe Alt moved over to left tackle because Rashawn Slater's gone for the year. So the last couple of weeks, they've been without 3 tackles and their first-round pick, Amari Hampton's on the IR. That does make a difference. I'm sorry. You lose 3 tackles in the NFL, it's going to hurt you. But guess what? Joe Alt is questionable. Trey Pipkins is now questionable. They're getting these guys back. They're not going to get Slater back, but Pipkins and Alt, they will get back. And I think that changes their offense. I think it changes the protection for Justin Herbert in the pocket, and I think it changes their running game. So I do think those tackles do make a difference for this team. In fairness, my all-32 comes from a guy that I never thought I'd say. It comes from a Bengal.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How about that, Drew? You like that? Yeah. Drew's back there talking Burrow.
I don't just like it. I love it, Bink.
It's Joe Flacco, man. And I've never been a big Joe Flacco guy. The whole elite conversations were funny. I do believe the second Ravens Super Bowl was because of Joe Flacco and the way he played in the postseason. Not that defense was clearly him. But he said something yesterday, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of like Joe Flacco. This is what he had to say. Yeah, it's fine. Joe clarified it there. They didn't want to be around the kids. But the one thing is, he gets away from a nagging wife. Like, he sits at a bar, he eats by himself. He doesn't have to.
God.
He doesn't have to deal with his wife ordering expensive
Says the
stuff.
divorce guy.
She's nagging him. So Joe,
Why am I
the
not
kid's a
surprised?
different part of the equation. But think about he's not sitting there with his wife. This is great. This is it. He said it right there. This is like being in heaven. This guy at the bar sitting and eating alone. Alex Gold could probably relate to me in this, going to a bar and sitting by yourself.
You
and
are
eating
unbelievable.
Food. How am I unbelievable? Just being honest about the situation. It's a bingo. Right, Drew? One of your guys.
I understand that. But for you to have the audacity to say...
he just said, I look at that guy as being in heaven. What he's saying is, it's a guy being by himself, enjoying beer and food, and not having his wife nagging him.
He didn't say that, though.
He didn't. I'm paraphrasing.
Uh-huh. All right, so my all-32 is just... I know that we talk about constantly and we have talked about on this show, the AFC quarterbacks being just in terms of the elite level quarterbacks, they all seem to be in the AFC compared to the NFC. But looking at just how things have kind of played out over the course of the year, while the quarterbacks might be very good, is the NFC just a better, deeper conference, like in terms of maybe just Super Bowl contenders? Because right now, as we've talked about this season, I mean, it's really the Chiefs, the Bills maybe. I mean, it feels like it's just between them. Maybe somebody else tries to spoil the party. Where in the NFC, I mean, you can make a case, I think, for 5 or 6 teams potentially to make a run at that thing.
The NFC's definitely deeper. Yeah.
Where would your money go for a Super Bowl champion, though?
I mean...
Will it come out of the AFC?
If I had to bet on a team to do it, it's probably
Not
Kansas
a team.
City. Like,
Will
if
it
you
be AFC or NFC?
Well, he's basically answering that question.
Exactly.
you mean to
It'd be
win
the
the
Chiefs.
Super Bowl? I mean, but you're more likely to pick one from the NFC, I would say. Like, if you're betting on a conference, who's more likely? Probably the NFC. But if you knew that the Kansas City Chiefs were going to come out of the AFC and go to the Super Bowl, then I mean, you would pick the AFC. But that's...
Well, the quarterbacks have gotten better in the NFC. This is the
I
biggest
don't know.
difference.
I mean,
This is why
that's
it used to be
really-
all AFC.
The conference is deeper, but they're not better
you
than
have to-
than the best team in the league, I guess.
You have to break it down by the quarterbacks. I think that's right. I mean,
The NFC
I
is
still
definitely
think
stockpiled quarterbacks.
I still think Allen and Mahomes will be there at the end on the AFC side. All right, maybe if you want to believe in Daniel Jones, okay. So Allen, Mahomes, Jones, okay.
Indiana Jones, baby.
NFC side right now, it is trending towards still, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield,
Stafford,
Sam Darnold. You know,
Jordan Love. I mean, the Packers are 4-1-1.
The bottom end on the bottom end of the AFC, we're talking about Rodgers. It's May. It's Knicks.
Herbert-ish. I mean,
well, he's not even in the.
But the quality of quarterbacks certainly got much, much better in the NFC.
Yeah. All right, there you go. That's all 32 here on Cody and Gold. Up next, fantasy football discussion with Paul Charchian. Who are we starting after a slow start to the season? Bo Nix, maybe is he a start this year? And we'll also get into why the Vikings are not playing J.J. McCarthy.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Discover the latest HVAC, plumbing, and trade solutions with companies like Honeywell and Aprilaire, and 20-plus other vendors at the Kansas City Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase. Today from 3 to 6 at J. Rieger & Co. Distillery. Plus, enjoy complimentary food, drinks, tours, prizes, and networking.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Natural disasters happen every year.
fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone, lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door has proudly served our community for decades. The best styles, technology, and family values. That's Renner. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hanging out here on a Thursday, it's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold with you. Jay Binkley is in for Cody today. We'll find out why he's gone tomorrow, as I've said a few times. Odd timing the day of FBI investigations for poker games, things like that. You hear the laugh there. That's Paul Charchian joining us to talk a little fantasy football. What do you make of this? I mean, you've been in the fantasy football / betting world for a while as well. Yes. What do you make of the news of the day?
Well, this has always been one of the big concerns. This is going to be the thing that will spark a couple of things. One is we're going to see continued and better AI investigation of betting irregularities. So when we find out that a group suddenly has dropped $200,000 quickly on a prop bet, a specific prop bet, that should be a red flag. That should immediately set off alarm bells, right? And, I think AI is going to help us monitor that stuff in real time better than we have in the past. To the best of my knowledge, there's only 2 companies that are providing that particular kind of service. So that's going to be one of it. And then the other part is when you're seeing coaches and athletes go to jail for this, that's going to be sobering, right?
Hopefully.
In a way, I think there are people that just think, well, the worst thing that's going to happen is, I'll get suspended. I won't have to play a few games or whatever. When you see people go to jail, that'll change some people's minds on doing that.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I hope that becomes a big enough deterrent for people out there. And you're exactly right on. I was trying to explain that there's companies that have algorithms and things like that detect irregularities. It's not normal for someone with, whether it's a brand new betting account or not, to whether we're talking prop bets or all of a sudden want to load up and bet $20,000 on Norfolk State first half spread in a basketball game. That's just not normal stuff. And then they take another bet from Bink, and then Drew also is betting it. That's not normal. That's the kind of stuff that will cause investigations. But let's talk a little fantasy football. Paul Charchian with us. He's brought to you by Twin Peaks Eats, Drink, Scenic Views. Starting, I want to work backwards. So let's start tonight, actually, and then get to Sunday. I was trying to explain this earlier. It's Carson Wentz tonight, but this isn't just because McCarthy's hurt, right? Isn't this a little bit of they're not happy with how he's progressed?
Well, they're also not happy with how Carson Wentz has played. So, there's that. So there's a lot of talk, and a lot of it's been brought on by the Vikings themselves about whether or not this is a soft benching for J.J. McCarthy, because a high ankle sprain should not take 6 weeks. And if it does take 6 weeks, either there's been a setback or it was mismanaged from the beginning, and he could have had surgery on it right away and then already been back. Typical ankle surgery has got a 4 or 5 week return time frame. So there's a lot of thoughts that the Vikings may have mismanaged it, or if there was a setback, why not just say there was a setback?
True.
Instead, when the timetable keeps getting extended like this, it raises all these kinds of conversations, which is not fair to J.J. McCarthy, who, by the way, is still walking with a limp. I mean, the injury is legit, and he has not been soft benched. It's just he's still hurt, and this team feels like he is not at a stage of his career with only 2 starts that they want him going out at anything less than 100%. So he's not playing. This team's going to try to win with Carson Wentz. And you watch, there's a lot of running coming tonight because they're going to try to de-emphasize Carson Wentz out of this game plan, and the Chargers have struggled against the run.
Speaking of running tonight, Charge, if Minnesota running back Aaron Jones returns, what's it mean for Jordan Mason?
Hi, Jay.
Hi, Charge.
We haven't had a chance to talk in like a year.
Charge NATO.
Yeah, I miss you, my man. It's great to talk to you again. This is if Aaron Jones returns, what we saw in the first 2 games when Jones and Jordan Mason played together was them just cannibalizing each other. Jordan Mason had 23 rushing yards in week 1 and 23 rushing yards in week 2. He'll still get goal line use, but unfortunately, this offense, unlike, say, the Lions offense that can sometimes support 2 running backs out of the same backfield from a fantasy standpoint, I don't think Mason and Aaron Jones are Gibbs and Montgomery, so that is not going to be great. Now, the good news is Chargers just getting rocked by running backs, as I mentioned. Last week, Jonathan Taylor, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns. Previous week, Devon Achane, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Week before that, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, career high, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. So, Mason's still startable, especially with 6 teams on bye, but less so Jones, and I don't love the history here of roughly even time use for those guys.
Oronde Gadsden, what his dad played in the league as well. If you're in Dynasty, maybe he's been sitting on your bench for a while, and now he just came off a breakout game. Is he a legit, fantasy football tight end now?
Yeah, I think he is. Tricky matchup this particular game, but yes. And by the way, I'm old enough to remember the original Oronde Gadsden, the wide receiver for the Dolphins.
Yep.
He looked pretty. By the way, here's your trivia question: Is that he caught Dan Marino's final touchdown pass?
Okay.
Gadsden,
there you go.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Got to win a bar bet. Breakout performance last Sunday, 164 yards. To tell you how good 164 yards is for a tight end, last year, only 1 tight end posted a 164-yard game. We got that out of Oronde Gadsden last week. He's big. He's smooth. He's fast. Now, where it gets a little bit tricky, the Vikings have been a good tight end defense. Only 1 tight end has topped 45 yards all year. They get Blake Cashman, their linebacker, back, and he generally covers tight ends. It does a very good job. So Gadsden's going to come back to earth. They'll have like 100 fewer yards than he had last week, but with 6 teams on bye, Oronde Gadsden's still a starting tight end. I've got him at tight end 10 this week.
What about some other news here, Charge? Slow start to the season for Bo Nix, but he just posted the highest scoring fantasy game of any quarterback all year. Is this going to be a trend going forward, or is this a mirage?
Yeah, it's certainly a trend for this coming week. He's got Dallas. The best offense in the league is Dallas. The second best offense in the league is whoever's playing Dallas. The defense is so bad. This is a great opportunity for Bo Nix. Jay and Alex, listen to this. Dallas's defense has allowed the most passing yards, the most passing touchdowns, the most quarterback rushing yards, and the most quarterback rushing touchdowns, all at one time. That's an astounding inability to play defense. And here comes Bo Nix coming off a game with 4 touchdowns. He remains a great start. He's my number 5 quarterback this week.
We're talking to Paul Charchian here on 96.5 The Fan. Nico Collins, this Texans offense has just been pitiful. C.J. Stroud doesn't look like the same quarterback at all. And then you got Collins, suffered a concussion on Monday night. So who the heck is C.J. Stroud throwing to?
Nobody on your fantasy team. Nico Collins still has not cleared the concussion protocol. Short week. I don't think he's going to. I mean, if you look more broadly, I don't think there's any Houston players to start this weekend. And a lot of the blame falls on the offensive line. They rank 29th in pass block win rate, 28th in run block win rate. They're terrible at everything. And here you are, your Houston general manager, Nick Caserio. You get a historic season from C.J. Stroud 3 years ago. All you have to do is build an offensive line around your new franchise quarterback. You've done the hard part. You've got your franchise quarterback. Now just surround him with offensive line talent. But instead, it's been just awful retread players who've been proven bad on other teams going to Houston. They traded away Laramie Tunsil, who granted was overpaid and he wasn't that good, but he was better than what they got now. He's only allowed 1 sack this year in Washington. It's been really bad decisions around that offensive line. Nick Chubb, Woody Marks aren't doing much in the running as a running tandem. And then the number 2 receiver, Christian Kirk, has been hurt all year. So it's all bad right now, and we're not starting any Texans this week.
The Saints game this weekend, Alvin Kamara, clearly a guy we've talked about here. He is questionable. He's got that ankle that he's been dealing with. Is he still good to go, or is he cooked at this point?
It's been bad. So, we've talked about on this segment several times over the course of this year that Kamara could come to Kansas City. I don't think you want him at this stage. So, first, he just isn't the same guy. The eye test suggests it, but I'll give you some numbers to back it up. Kamara hasn't topped 70 rushing yards all year. He hasn't scored since week 1. Over the past 5 weeks, he's barely averaging 3 yards per carry. He's 29th in yards after contact. And as one of the best dual threat runners in the league, Alvin Kamara just 18 receiving yards per game. I'm not saying he's never going to have another good game, but I am saying this guy doesn't look like the same player anymore. And granted, the rest of the whole offense isn't that good either, but just individually, Kamara does not look like the same guy. They just lost Kendry Miller, the backup. The next guy up, as your listeners will know, Devin Neal. And he should be rostered because Kamara continues on this path. They're gonna find ways to get Devin Neal on the field like they were doing with Kendry Miller. If he gets traded, or if just years, now at his age, maybe it's just time has caught up to Alvin Kamara. There's some scenarios here where Devin Neal's going to make an impact between now and the rest of the season.
The real deal Devin Neal, Kansas grad. All right, Charge. Lamar Jackson, reports just came out that he was practicing for a second straight day. Limited, though, for a second straight day. Someone on the text line was asking about Zay Flowers versus Addison. Where you lean there?
Well, that's a good question. Zay, obviously, Zay Flowers a lot more if he's got his quarterback, and it looks like Lamar Jackson's going to go. Kind of has to, right? Your Baltimore season basically, if it's not already mathematically over, it would be with a loss here. So you got to figure that Jackson's just they simply have, as a 1-win operation, they simply have to get Jackson back onto the field and just take their chances because everybody after him is just dreadful. As for the Vikings in tonight's game and Jordan Addison, here's the thing. You're Carson Wentz. You drop back to Pat. If you're Carson Wentz, and this is your last chance for relevancy at the NFL level. So he's doing what I would do. He's peppering Justin Jefferson with targets, 10 targets a game. That's what I would do too. If I'm Carson Wentz trying to save my NFL relevancy, I would get the ball to Justin Jefferson. But quietly, Jordan Addison has been pretty good as well, and part of it's been big plays. In the 3 games Addison has had since a suspension with Carson Wentz, 114-yard game, and he had a touchdown game, and a 120-yard game. Addison's been pretty good, startable tonight.
They're playing the Bears. Go back to Lamar Jackson. The Ravens are playing the Bears, and we've started to see that Ben Johnson offense get things together now, and I know people are still waiting to see if Caleb Williams is going to turn out to be who everybody thought he could be, but that offense is starting to look like a Ben Johnson offense.
It is, and it's pretty impressive, honestly. 4 wins in a row, the defense getting better, offense getting better, and last week, what we saw from Ben Johnson is him building a poor man's version of what he had with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. So they've got DeAndre Swift, and he started slowly, but he's gotten a lot better. And then Kyle Monungai has appeared kind of out of nowhere. 15 touches last week, and he looked good with the 15 touches. And Swift's got a groin injury right now. But Monungai looks like he's going to fill the David Montgomery role as the physical north-south pounder and a guy who can catch a little bit. He's doing all the stuff that David Montgomery does. And so I think we're developing a 1-2 punch here. We're going to watch this groin injury on Swift. If Swift gets ruled out of this week, Monungai's going to be like he's going to be like running back 10 this coming week in my rankings. So make sure he's been rostered in your league as well. You'll have to figure out how to spell Monangai, and that's on you.
Paul Charchian, appreciate it as always, man. Enjoy the game. By the way, are the Vikings winning tonight or are the Chargers? I need some more advice. I'm leaning towards the Chargers.
Chargers.
Okay.
I don't trust the Carson Wentz led. I think he pumpkined last week. I don't trust him here. The pathway for the Vikings to win is to just run the ball enough to win. But I think the Chargers have got so many offensive weapons between the receivers, Arondé Gadsden, even Kamani Vidal, that they end up winning this game, unfortunately.
There you go, Paul Charchian with the latest on fantasy football each and every Thursday here on Cody and Gold. He's brought to you by Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, Scenic Views. Coming up in about 30 minutes, guys, all right? 30 minutes normally is Professor Tap. Well, Tap is out today, okay? So substitute professor, teacher is one Jay Binkley. He's going to teach us a lesson, which, I mean,
Somebody had a guess earlier in the show.
Just saying that out loud is terrifying. So we'll find out together around 1:15 or so. We'll also get back in at 1 o'clock here in 15 minutes to the news of the day. That is the FBI gambling scandal and investigation with the NBA and active player, active coach, and everything around that. We started the show with that. And we will do that latest update here at 1 o'clock. But in the meantime, Drew, it is time for
Random Question.
The random question of the day, brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today.
All right, so the random question is going to be the question that I asked many players yesterday, including number one prospect, probably the number one overall pick, maybe the number one overall pick in the draft, AJ DiBanza. What is your barbecue plate? I don't care about the place. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can make your plate right now.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with
what? Okay. Barbecue plate. Yeah, we'll leave the place out of it. We all have our favorites. Great barbecue in Kansas City.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I've got some people coming into town from D.C. for the Commanders game, and so you bet we're going to some barbecue over the weekend. Anyway, for me, do I get like 2 entrees? Because here's what we're going. We're going with a couple ribs. Okay, some beef ribs. We're going with a couple of those. We're also going to have burn ends. Those are, if I'm only can pick like 2 true entrees, those are the 2 I'm picking. Ribs with some burn ends. Sides, this is where it's like it depends on where I'm going, but baked beans at a certain place in town are way better than everywhere else. I want to go with also a little bit of the cheesy corn bake. You know which place I'm talking about for that. That would be my plate if I can only give you 4 items. I got other things, but those would be the 4.
I always thought it'd be fun to be from Kansas City, win the Master Tournament. So the next year, you just have an all-star plate of barbecue food for your dinner that you have. Since you took ribs,
you can build whatever plate you want, Bing.
Can I do ribs as well?
It is your
It's
plate.
not a draft.
It's
not a draft.
I actually like what Gold's. I like burn ends the best. That's my favorite. And then, of course, ribs on there as well. But the side would definitely be, it'd have to be baked beans. It'd have to be barbecue beans. Certain places have them better than others. I like to take burn ends, chop them up, throw them in those beans. So you take the chopped up burn end and then you throw it in those beans, and man, it is fantastic. And you know, if we're doing sides, got to be onion rings, man. At a barbecue restaurant, you got to have onion rings. Dip the onion rings, that barbecue sauce.
A little onion ring tower.
100%.
I'm not a beans fan at all.
At all.
Have you, real quick, have you made the tour yet? Have you gone to what I would consider, I know people debate what the best
Not
is,
all
but
of them.
have you gone to what I will
have
say
not.
the best 5 or 6 places in town?
No, I've not been to all of
How
them.
many have you, you don't have to name them, how many have you been to?
That I can think of off the top of my head, 3, and there's one that I like more than anything else. I'm not going anywhere. I don't need to go.
Have you
anywhere
been?
else.
Okay, I'll just name them. Screw it. Whatever. We love them all. We love you all. Have you been to Jack Stack?
Yes.
Have you been to Q39?
No.
Gates?
No.
Arthur Bryant's?
No.
Smokehouse?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Joe's is the other one that you didn't
Joe's.
mention.
Yep.
Those
Okay.
are the
I mean, there's other ones that are great, but yes.
Yes.
Smokehouse is the one I do the beans with the burn
All right.
ends.
So
Love
what's
the
your
burn
plate?
ends.
Sorry.
All right. So my plate, I'm gonna have some brisket, some pulled pork, a baked potato, and then some cheesy corn as well.
Nice. What are you putting on the potato? Some of the barbecue?
No.
Oh,
okay.
man, that's how you do
on
it.
top of the potato, no. But what I'll do, I only get butter with the baked potato. I don't get sour cream or anything like that. I just get butter. But I'll take some of the baked potato and scoop up as well some of the brisket or the pulled pork and eat it off the fork at the same time. I don't
Throw that brisket in that potato.
Yeah.
I'm
People are saying you
right.
said beef ribs. Yeah, I think I mean pork ribs. Sorry, whatever. Yeah, pork ribs. Fine. Sure.
I'm just not a beans person because there's one thing that I don't need to be gassy afterwards. You know, I don't need to be pulling that. All right.
We didn't need that, Drew.
You baked potato?
Baked potato.
Look, I love a baked potato with my steak, but
baked potato.
It's a Texas Roadhouse thing, man.
Baked potato.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I mean, if you want me to replace the baked potato with something that I want, you got to have greens. Like I could have collard greens.
Okay. So you don't want to have beans because it makes you fart.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't need to be extra gassy on top of the. Plus,
You said extra gas. Are you
part of the fun?
Plus, no,
if you're gassy all the time, there's things you can do to fix that.
Correct.
You said
I'm not gassy
you're
all the
acting like
time.
you
It's
already
just-
are, and then now this makes you extra.
No, I don't need to be gassy from the beans. Plus, I also don't think baked beans taste that good. I'll be honest. They don't taste that
true.
good. There are many other sides that taste better than baked beans.
Now there are some places where
I'd
the
rather
beans.
have- I
There's
think I
definitely
would-
some place where the beans are better than others. I'll give you that.
I would rather have mac and cheese than baked beans. I would rather have obviously collard greens than baked beans. I'd rather have cheesy corn.
Wow.
I would rather have potato salad than baked beans.
Yeah, I'm taking some friends from out of town. We're going to get some barbecue this weekend. I'm very excited for them to experience some Kansas City barbecue. Don't worry, I'm taking them to what I would consider one of the big three, one of the big four.
Gold, I think you back me on this. Somebody wants to know what the baked potato that's not loaded is. Look, I think you're the same way. You just get butter, correct?
Yeah, but not at a barbecue place.
No, I'm just saying baked potato in general.
Yeah, like people
You're
give me a
only
hard
getting butter.
time. If I go to a steakhouse,
That's all I get.
I get my filet and I get a baked potato butter only. People think that's weird. It
Throw
tastes
some chili on
tastes
there.
great. Yeah, I'm good.
Someone said Drew goes to Dickey's. Do they even have Dickey's barbecue here? I mean,
I don't know. There's a other chain right by where you live. That's not local.
Okay. See, that
That
one,
doesn't count.
I've also been
That
there, but I
doesn't
didn't
count.
count that as a part of the Big Five.
Yeah,
like
that-
you were
that
talking
doesn't
about. That
count.
also is not the preferred place. I'm not going to a chain barbecue place, no. But there are a lot of people that backed Kansas City barbecue, including
There's so
PJ
many
Haggerty.
things about barbecue.
K-State.
Like one has a better item than the other. Just
Yeah. I mean, if
having an all-star deal, a dinner is the perfect way to go in Kansas City. It's where you have like 5 friends. You say, all right, just
Yeah.
go out and get the ribs from this place,
I
get the
agree.
beans from this place, and you all converge
Totally.
to one
The text
place,
line is
and you have an
mixed on the
all-star
beans
meal.
take.
Yeah,
Text
absolutely.
line is mixed on the beans take.
Yeah, you like for me, like you get the beans from one particular place in town. I'll get the other side from a different, and absolutely, I'll get the ribs from a certain place in town more because everybody's sauce is a little bit different. There's a classic place in town that I've definitely gone to, but not as big of a fan of their sauce as others.
I've had smokeouts for the last 30 years on Thanksgiving. You get it the day before, then you have. I'm not kidding you. I've done this for like the last 30 years.
Yeah. Now I'm hungry. Thank you for the question, Drew.
Yeah, I'm hungry too.
Barbecue
now.
sounds great. I got to wait till
It
I think
does
we're going to
sound
get
good.
barbecue
You
Saturday
don't
I
night.
got some
hungry?
leftovers at home from the other day, so
Was
I'm ready.
Dusty's tweeted a picture of his chili last night.
Okay.
He brought some here for me. The Dusty
that's
chili.
nice of him.
Well, Dusty's a very good cook. I know Cody's a very good cook too, but so's Dusty. And I was thinking chili. And it's honestly, take that chili, Fritos, cheese, onions, jalapenos. That's perfect chili, I think.
Okay. Someone says, anybody prefer sliced brisket over chopped?
Sliced, yes.
Yeah,
I
like
guess, if I had a
absolutely.
preference, I would
Yeah,
be
sliced brisket. Is it part of like a platter when you get like 3 slices of brisket? If it's chopped, like I don't mind a brisket sandwich where the brisket's chopped in that regard.
I like it traditionally
that's all right,
sliced.
but
Yeah, I think you're
normally,
right.
yeah,
Platter.
normally sliced. Yeah, someone says Gold doesn't like Gates sauce. Not my favorite sauce.
That was a preference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody's got a preference.
So you don't like gas?
No, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that
You're
I
married
don't,
now. This is fine.
I don't need to intentionally eat food that, one, I don't think tastes that great, which people agree with on this text line, by the way, and also gives you gas. Like
That's
don't
part of the
need
experience, man.
I understand that, but I also don't care for beans.
All right. There you
Anyways.
go. Good random question, Drew. Appreciate the text on this, guys, as well. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Bink's got his lesson of the week. He's filling in for Cody. That's scary. And we will get right back into the scandal around the NBA and the FBI investigation next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Ready Set Ford. That's what Shawnee Mission Ford is all about, bringing meaning to Ready, Set, Ford. They offer their customers the largest discounts on every new vehicle, along with those aggressive rebates and top trade-in value. Maybe you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle. They've got over 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from at prices and terms that are going to work with any single budget. Right now, I'm driving the all-new 2025 Ford Expedition Platinum, and this thing is fully loaded. In fact, I'm going to put out a new video today showing a little bit more of the interior. I mentioned how spacious this thing is, whether you're trying to have a lot of cargo in the back or it seats 8, third row seat. You can lower that from the very side of the vehicle as well. But what right now I loved this morning was the heated steering wheel. It's my favorite feature. These mornings is starting to be a little bit cooler. So the heated steering wheel, the heated seats right there, along with the infotainment system. And I'll put out a video. You guys will see they've completely redesigned the steering wheel as well. Did an amazing job with it. So if you want some more specifics on some of the features, check out my social media channels. But Shawnee Mission Ford can show you the Expedition, show you the F-150 that I had for a month or two prior to that. And again, they've got a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles as well. Shawnee Mission Ford is on a mission to do more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching.
Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel. Because with FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot, you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores the first or last touchdown of the game, you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to take a shot at the jackpot. That's FanDuel.com/Alex for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt in. Must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets will expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Every big play starts with a first down, and every financial future starts with the right partner. Main Street Credit Union is not-for-profit and member-owned, which means we invest in you with guidance that's clear, tools that make sense, and people who actually listen. We're here to help you move the chains. Whatever your next move is, auto loan, savings goal, or paying off debt, let's make it one play at a time. Visit MainStreetCU.org to get started.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Happy anniversary, Royals fans.
Lined right field toward the corner. Fair ball. Kane around second. On his way to third. He's going to try to score. Here he comes. Throw not in time. Eric Hosmer lined it into right field toward the corner. Bautista went over to dig it out, but Kane from first base scoring all the way. Hosmer ends up at first base, and this place is vibrating.
96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon with you. Jay Binkley is in for Cody. That means Professor Tapp becomes Professor Bink. That's scary. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes. But let's get back into the biggest story of the day, not just in the sports world. I think it's the biggest story in the country in terms of what was announced earlier today. And that is that the FBI arrested 30-plus individuals in regards to 2 separate gambling investigations. One involves Chauncey Billups, the Hall of Famer, the active head coach, or was active head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, where they allege he was involved in an illegal poker operation and that he was kind of the face of that to bring people in, and it's all tied allegedly to the mafia. Then you have Terry Rozier, current NBA player for the Miami Heat, I believe, at this point in time, and an assistant coach, Damon Jones, who also was a player in the league at one point in time, as part of a inside sports gambling ring. This is some of what was discussed at a FBI press conference from the director of the FBI.
And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. 2
indictments, 34 people, separate investigations across illegal poker, sports betting, mafia, NBA players and coaches mentioned. I mentioned the names. Jonte Porter was also a name. That's kind of who was originally involved in this. You guys remember a year or two ago when that first popped up and then it kind of went away. Well, they were investigating, and here is the result of said investigation. 34 people in this investigation. Some of the details are pretty crazy. On the poker side of things for a second, Damon Jones and Chauncey Billups were allegedly involved in that. They said there were x-ray machines built into tables to read face-down cards, to scam people, contact lenses and glasses that read pre-marked cards, secret cameras in card trays. I mean, this is stuff straight out of a movie that they are alleged to have participated in to defraud, people out of millions of dollars over multiple years.
Text messages from the people that went to the poker games.
So that's the poker end. I don't know how many people care as much about the poker end. Not saying it's not a crime if it's true what they did, but in terms of our audience, I think people are more interested, obviously, in the integrity aspect of the NBA and of sports leagues and what is alleged. The incident in one case that was reported, I think it was from ESPN earlier today, is that essentially there was a game when Rozier was on the Hornets back in 2023, in which there were multiple bets in a short time period that came in a total, I'm rounding up to around $14,000 on unders for his points, his rebounds, his assists. That was a game in which he left in the second quarter due to an injury.
Yeah.
So that is how this got flagged in his case. As we were talking with Charch, there are companies out there that are partnered with the league and the sports betting operators that have algorithms and different ways of tracking irregular betting. It's not normal all of a sudden for, in a short period of time, to be large bets on unders of a player like Terry Rozier. Or, there's an investigation going on separate from this right now involving college basketball where people were allegedly making bets on first half spreads for Norfolk State. Completely random game. Why would a bunch of people all of a sudden be betting on the same game? Stuff like this gets flagged. It's one thing if, people are betting the over for LeBron James. It's much different when you're betting unders for random players or random colleges. And so this stuff gets flagged in a legal sports betting environment. You're going to get caught. And that's what's alleged that happened here. But obviously, I recognize if you're a sports fan, you say, wait a second. What I'm watching, is this a player throwing not necessarily the game, but their individual performance? Are they intentionally doing something? Am I betting on something that is quote unquote rigged? This is the Pandora's box that is opened up today. I understand why people are thinking that, Bank. And I'm a huge sports betting advocate. I do not think that everything is rigged now. I do not think that 99% of the league is on the up and up or not on the up and up. Believe it or not, you can play and coach in professional sports and not gamble on the sport you play. A majority of people can do that. There's also clearly individuals that were unable to do that. Jonte Porter is reportedly in this whole thing, was involved in his life was threatened allegedly by those involved in organized crime because of gambling debt he owed, which is why he was part of the scheme. Now this is worst case scenario stuff for the NBA.
And the worst part, too, is the NCAA coming out and saying that their players can now bet on professional sports.
Yeah, it was a coincidence yesterday. Yeah.
Yes, it was just total coincidence that happened because they would kind of know those players that were just drafted off their team in the professional ranks. It's very convenient there. No, I just think every time you see somebody getting hurt, you're thinking, okay, is this legit or not?
Mm-hmm.
And that's bad for the players, too, because, you don't want guys going out there trying to press through it or something
well,
just so they don't get
right.
that tag on them that they're sitting out because of over and unders. Like, that's the part of the game you don't want to see. But you know what's going to happen. And already people are cutting up videos and everything else when people are throwing the ball away or getting turnovers and everything. They're going and saying whether they're trying to throw the game or not. Yeah, some of it looks suspicious and some of it is extremely innocent, but that line is blurred now between what was legit and not.
Yeah, this is why, whether it's Adam Silver with the NBA or Roger Goodell with the NFL, Rip Manfred with baseball, this is the worst day you can have. It really is. Like, there's other scandals that can happen that aren't great. This is the worst because you will have people looking at what is rigged, what is not rigged, at least the thought of it, and the perception. Doesn't mean it's actually happening on a daily and nightly basis, but when you have something like this, people are going to question it more than ever about your sport. And this is why if I'm the NFL PA, MLB PA, NBA PA, if I'm a player, for kind of what you were hinting at, Bink, about the injury stuff, if I'm a player, I don't want people thinking when I pull myself out of a game doing an injury, it's because I'm rigging my under. It's easier in the NBA to do this, I think, than any of the other sports. It's why historically we've seen more betting type scandals around the NBA because on an individual basis, I can impact my individual performance more. What I'm alluding to is I can prevent myself from having 10 rebounds. Like, let's say my over-under is 8.5 rebounds. I can play the whole game and I can prevent whether it's pulling myself out from a game or just not going, for a rebound. I can make sure I tell you ahead of time, Bing, I'm not getting 9 rebounds tonight. You can bet the under.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee that I'm going to throw 2 touchdown passes, that I'm going to score 35 points tonight in the NBA. But unders are way more susceptible.
Or just the assist when you could have taken a shot.
So I think the under bets is the area. If I'm the NFL, MLB, and NBA PA or players, I would push for the leagues, for the providers, for state legislators, because that's the next trickle-down effect, guys, to either ban or at least limit the types of under bets that I can make. That's the market we're really talking about being able to manipulate. Not so much the, hey, I'm favored by 7.5 points tonight, and I'm rigging it for your entire team. I'm talking individual performance unders are the part that can be schemed the most. And so I think you're going to see some states even here soon in their legislative sessions put forward legislation to ban prop bets in some cases, if not unders in others.
Yeah, the prop bets are going away. Now, back to this NCAA thing. I'm going to ask you this question because I don't know the answer to it. You would. Now, when this starts November 1st, where college athletes, NCAA, can bet on professional sports.
Pro sports, yep.
But can it be their same sport? Meaning, if you play college basketball, you can now bet on
I believe that was
basketball.
what was specifically
So I tried to find that in there, but I thought that, okay.
I believe college athletes this was a coincidence, but they announced it yesterday.
It can be your sport as well.
Yep.
Which that's extremely dangerous.
If it's at a different level.
Yeah, it's a different level. Because that's extremely dangerous because guys who are on your team are now drafted
it's
in
so
professional
different
sports. And there's context. Who's injured, who's not. Very important questions that can be asked and wagered on.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different. So, if you're a baseball player in Major League Baseball, you can bet on NFL games. You just cannot bet, obviously, on MLB games. Now, NFL players, their rules are different in the NFL a little bit. Remember the whole
not the
facility stuff. But it's not like the fact that college players can bet on NFL games is not any different, in my opinion, than MLB players being able to bet on NFL games.
Do you think it's dangerous for college basketball players betting on pro basketball?
I don't. I understand what you're concerned about, which is they have a buddy that is playing for the Cavs, let's say, and they went to college with them and their buddies, and hey, by the way, man, my ankle's bugging me. I'm not going to be good tonight. I'll be honest, though. That exact scenario, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to prevent somebody from telling just their friend that, man, I'm not feeling great tonight. Just a heads. I don't know if you're actually ever able to truly prevent that. But that goes back to why unders are the more susceptible bet. If I tell you that I'm sick, my ankle, I'm not feeling great. Oh man, I'm not, don't bet on me to bet the over, bet the under. I can manipulate that more versus telling you, hey man, I'm going to have a huge game tonight. Bet me to score 24.5. I can't promise that there's no way for me to guarantee I'm scoring 25. There's a way for me to guarantee I don't score 25 though.
Unless they said, hey man, I'm going to score a lot tonight because they're missing 3 players. 3 players aren't going to be playing tonight for the competition. You might want to go with me going over 20 points.
Yeah. Look, I think, today, like any theory people have, people are going to feel validated because of what, is alleged to have happened between these NBA players. This is not the first. This is not going to be the last. As I said, I think
so much drama in the association.
I think in about 6 months, we're probably, because there's an investigation going on about college basketball right now. I'm guessing in 6 months or so, it would not surprise me if the FBI has some arrests of some former college basketball players. There's a whole investigation going on right now. I mentioned Norfolk State. They're one of the programs where last year or a couple years ago, there was a bunch of first half spread bets on random Norfolk State games. And there's some players caught up in that. So this is not the first time or the last time. It's not a Goldilocks. And, I think it's important to note that prior to legalized sports betting, a lot of this stuff was never caught. Again, the only reason why we know about Jonte Porter or Terry Rozier is because it got flagged. So, for those that are like, see, it's worse because sports betting is legalized. I'm not saying that it's not a concern that what's going on in the NBA. Clearly, today's a terrible thing for the NBA. But if your idea is like, if you're saying that this is why Kansas or Missouri or any state shouldn't legalize, I just think you're completely misinformed about the situation.
I just told you and Drew about a story during a break about something that happened 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
the Black Sox happened in the early 19...
Way before legalized
18 or whatever that was? Yeah. I mean, so legalized sports betting is not why this is happening. It's why we're finding out more. It's why, if you do this, by the way, you're going to get caught. If you're an NBA player, an NFL player, and you're dumb enough to do this, you're going to get caught. It is not normal for a random NBA player to have a bunch of activity in 30-minute time period on their unders. That's not normal. It's going to get flagged. It might take a couple years to catch up to you. Here we are. But they will get you.
They'll even find it if your mom or dad's making the bet for you. That's how detailed they've been.
That's even easier to find.
I know, but that's how detailed they are in this.
Yeah, so it's a huge story. I think the NBA cannot just, act like, it is, I think, isolated, but they cannot act as if it is. That makes sense. Like they have to proceed, I think, with showing that they're being proactive and that they are going to go after the unders in the prop market. And someone responded to me and said, if people can't bet unders, they'll just bet offshore. There is a risk there. The reason why people got caught is because of a legal market. You're not going to be able to 1,000%. Like, I think it would be naive for me to sit here and tell you that you can 100% guarantee there will never be any issue. The majority of coaches in the NBA and players are able to not do this, is what I would say. Like the NFL might have, Bud Light sponsorships. It doesn't mean people are showing up to the job drunk every day. They have a betting sponsorship. It doesn't mean everybody's betting on the NBA. That's a player or coach.
Yeah, just means they taking the money.
All right, let's get to it.
Welcome to the classroom. Whether it's cooking lessons, singing lessons, or how to commit a heist, this guy wants to teach you what he knows. Well, what he thinks he knows. It's not Cody to you. It's Professor Tapp.
So Professor Tapp is out today. In comes Professor Bing.
So it's not going to be cooking. It's not going to be singing lessons. It's not going to be any of that.
Mac football?
It might be Mac football. About how to enjoy it, because it's starting up here in a couple of weeks once they kind of
What's
push
the lesson
Conference
plan,
USA
Professor?
out of the way. Speaking of Cody Tapp or Professor Tapp, I saw his class one night. I'm sitting there ready for after hours, and Cody brings in 2 classes. I got to speak to the classes.
Perfect.
I don't know if that's a good idea, but I was bringing up things that...
That's scary.
Well, I was kind of minimizing college education at times and how it doesn't really matter in this field. But
influencing the youth of America is scary.
Yeah, well, he asked me to, so I did. Professor Tapp, I'd love to have Cody as a teacher. It'd be great. No, this thing's been bothering me now for a couple of years. We know how Valentine's Day bothers me, and I've spoken on that many times. But we're on the cusp of Halloween.
Oh, the lesson's about Halloween.
We're getting on the cusp of Halloween right here. And people are going out and picking out their costumes. They've probably been doing this for the last month or so. And one of the things you hate about social media now, if you're sick of like Facebook pictures of your friend and his wife at a beach and their pictures on there, wait till Halloween happens, because then they're going to put their pictures of their costumes. Halloween used to be about the kids, and they used to be going trick-or-treating. Nowadays, they just go trunk-or-treating. They don't even do that. So this holiday was about
that's a safety thing.
the kids. I know I put a whole bunch of candy out one time because I didn't want to be bothered during the game, and I said, please take one. Little bastard took the whole basket. So screw that. I turn my light off now. Forget about it. You ruined it.
Wait, Professor,
kids.
I got a question.
You're done? You quit?
No.
Question. You don't put out candy anymore?
I do the full-size ones for certain kids.
Hang on a second. For certain
If there's
kids.
a game on, hell no.
Well, there's a game on.
But here's the deal,
I
I don't need to be turning on
Friday?
Instagram. Like Drew's been popular lately of putting on Instagram pictures of him with his shirt off and slamming seltzers.
Yes, he
or
has.
working out or whatever. Do I want to see Drew in a Scooby-Doo outfit or his wife in a Daphne outfit with Scooby-Doo? I mean, seriously, Drew, are you being Scooby this year? Do you and your wife dress up, play dress up, and go to parties?
We have dressed up for Halloween in some time.
I mean, this is Professor. If I have a question.
Pro
please.
athletes do it all the time.
This sounds a lot like your lesson prior to you subbing in this class, this show, where you were telling people that Valentine's Day is also now stupid. And then earlier in the show,
Halloween is completely commercialized now. It's becoming an adult thing.
You don't want
learn
adults.
how to enjoy Halloween that's supposed to be made. You hand out candy to the kids.
Right.
You don't worry about dressing up and going to a party and then taking a picture and throwing it on social media about how you and your wife dressed up as Travis and Taylor. Nobody gives a rat's ass.
So
if
you
you're
don't
dressed up
think
as Travis and Taylor, you're embarrassing.
So can parents?
I agree
you're
with that
saying,
part.
let me understand this lesson today. Parents, they have kids. They cannot also dress up when they go trick or treating with their kids.
100%.
They can or can't.
No, you don't dress up. If you take your kids, you know what you do? I used to have, when I had small children, I'd sit in the driveway and hand out beers. When the dads would come by, I'd give them a beer and sit there and drink beer with the dads and the kids. But adults wearing costumes, and this is becoming an epidemic. It happens everywhere. I guarantee your friends are planning which outfits they're going to wear, and they're going to a Halloween party. They're probably not inviting you, by the way, either. But they're going to go to a Halloween party.
Wow. Is this because you weren't invited?
Up. No, it's done. It's becoming an adult holiday. It used to be all about the kids' Halloween. It's about the adult. Are you going to a Halloween party, Gold? You probably are. What are you going to be?
I'm not, actually, although I do need to figure out a costume, Bink, because...
See, you're wearing a damn costume.
No, hold on. I do need to figure out a costume because next Friday we're on remote at Community America in in Blue Springs. Okay. And we're doing a Red Friday tailgate, but it's on Halloween. And so Cody and I are dressing up because it's a Halloween tailgate as well. I have no idea what the hell I'm going to wear, Bink. But also, you said you said that Halloween used to be a certain way.
It used to be about the kids.
But you just admitted that you don't pass out candy the same way you used to.
Yeah, because the little bastards took all the candy.
So you've ruined the holiday, too.
Well, no, it's different now. Trick-or-treaters are way down.
I think
way down, because they'll go to trunk-or-treats or whatever, at local places.
Halloween's always been commercialized.
But it's way more commercialized
I also
now.
think,
hell, they put the candy out in August.
I also think you sound like you need to be invited to the Halloween party. Is there anybody out there listening?
Halloween party.
I think
Halloween parties are dumb.
I think you think it's dumb because you haven't gone to one.
No, I've been to them, and they suck.
When's the last one you went to?
I don't know. I just never got into the whole costume thing. My only costume I think I had as a kid was I carved a pumpkin and put it on as a hat. Like, wore the pumpkin.
That's not where I thought that was going, so that's good. Okay.
Where do you think I was going with it?
I'm not sure. But as far as...
What do you think I was going to do with that pumpkin? Gold?
Jeez.
You think I was going to be Drew with it?
What would that be?
Huh?
What would that be?
What Drew would do with it? I don't know. Drew likes to dress like
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
He's going as Scooby-Doo, yeah.
Enough, Drew. Enough.
Okay.
We know.
Okay.
No, seriously, though. I guarantee you Drew would put his picture on Instagram, probably the station account.
No,
Guaranteed it'd probably be the station account.
No.
But the people that goes to work, it's become more about the adults because like their parents will have these kids and they're like, hey, you going trick or treat? Well, Dad and I are going to a costume party. We're playing dress up.
I have a question.
It's about the kids.
No, I have a question. Are we supposed to learn anything from this, or is this just?
Well, we're learning that Bink.
I'm learning it's about the kids, not you.
Text line said the lesson today from Bink is that Bink sounds like a bitter, scorned single man.
I'm Joe Flacco, man. I'm sitting at the bar eating my food. No, I'm just saying, remember, it's about the kids, though. When they want to dress up for Halloween and stuff, you encourage that. You and your husband don't need to go to a Halloween party all dressed up and then throw the pictures all over social media because you dressed up at a costume party. Hey, look at me, look at me, look at this costume. Because, honestly, it probably sucks.
Someone says, let people enjoy things, Professor Bink. Hashtag bitter Bink.
No, I don't want them to enjoy it.
Bitter Bink.
Just to remember the true spirit of the holiday.
Someone says, this dude, Bink,
Dress
is
scary,
so
man.
wrong.
If you're going to be a Barbie, be a zombie Barbie. Be something scary. Put some blood on your face.
Someone says, this dude is so wrong. Kids want their parents to dress up. You spend too much time on social media, Bink. Someone else says, get off my lawn, you kids. Someone else says, Bink, what do you make of Paige's 31 Days of Halloween? Should she stop posting?
Paige Brannick,
So she's okay to dress up.
Yeah, I'm okay with that one.
Oh my God.
Well, she's hot, man. She's hot.
There we go.
That's my number one thirst trap, man. I'll be honest.
Too cool to dress up. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get.
But you'll see the professional athletes. I guarantee it. Twitter will be full. Your timeline will be full of Josh Allen dressing like who knows what, and his wife out some stupid Halloween party. But the professional athletes do it. They'll go to the stadium dressed like that. It's like, man, this is about the kids, man. This is knock, 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 trick or treat. Come on.
Someone says, where is the rule book, Bink, that states it's just for kids? When did Bink turn into Ebenezer Scrooge?
Halloween's always been about the kids, or it used to be. Back in my day, it was about the kids.
Man, this is, Professor, I'm glad you're a sub. I'm glad you're a substitute teacher. I can't believe I had
I didn't teach
lesson.
singing or any of that,
Yeah. Could you imagine if you were could you imagine, Bink, if you were a sub at like a middle school, would you just put on like, I don't know, you just put on some documentary and just sit there on your phone?
100%.
Yeah, I think so.
100%.
That's Professor Bink.
I have done it, by the way.
Have you?
Back in the day, yeah, a long time
ago. You were
ago.
a sub? Oh, my
long
goodness.
time ago. This kid comes.
What grade? What grade?
This middle school kid came in with his head soaked. And I said, what happened to you? He goes, I got a swirly. And honestly, I started laughing because he's like,
of course you
we
did.
used to do this crap. Like, I was really closely removed from high school. It's like, we just do this crap. That's funny. But I was real serious about it. I had to change my laugh to a frown. That's who did this? I was grinning the whole time.
What grade did you say?
I was like 6th or 7th grade or something.
And what did you do did you teach anything that day, or did you put on a movie?
You probably rolled the TV in and definitely put on a movie.
Probably, Drew. That's probably what I do. I don't like to teach anything.
Sometimes we finally have a professor worse than Cody.
Well, maybe so.
Well, we might need you next week, depending on the FBI investigation with Cody's poker games. But otherwise, I don't know how often you'll be asked to be our substitute professor.
Bink, if you have to fill in next week, we should have we should dress up because it's Halloween on Friday.
Now I'm getting texts from people saying, you're my curmudgeon. They hate me.
Wow.
I'm a jerk.
All right. Up next, let's get
Wow. Substitutes, man.
Let's get to what's trending. And then earlier today, Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver, joined us to talk about Rashee Rice and a potential contract this offseason, as well as what he makes of the Commanders heading into Monday Night Football.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu, second to none. And don't forget about our 29-degree man-sized drafts. Our happy hour will have you coming back for more. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
BetMGM is inviting you to charge the field this pro football season. Existing BetMGM customers can have a ball without having to sweat. Log into your account to get a pro football no sweat token. Apply the token to your next pro football bet. If you lose with the token attached, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets. That's right. With a no sweat token, you get your stake back in bonus bets if you don't win. There's nothing like a fresh set of downs. And that's just what BetMGM is offering if you don't win with a no-sweat token. Find your favorite matchup and be part of the action. Make this pro football season one for the ages. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Discover the latest HVAC, plumbing, and trade solutions with companies like A.O. Smith and 20-plus other vendors at the Kansas City Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase. Today from 3 to 6 at J. Rieger & Co. Distillery. Plus, enjoy complimentary food, drinks, tours, prizes, and networking.
It's football season, and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's game day, and nothing says Chiefs football like the aroma of a tailgate grill. Kick off your pregame party with a Kingdom Meat Bundle from Hy-Vee. Get 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 pork chops, 4 bratwurst, and 4 chuck patties for just $30. Plus, get a 10-cent per gallon fuel saver. Toss in some chips and dip, side dishes, and Chiefs-themed baked goods. Score the extra point with your favorite tailgate beverage from Hy-Vee Wine and Spirit. Just one stop for all your game day needs, only at Hy-Vee.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
For over 36 years, Metal by the Foot has been your source for steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. Located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. What's trending?
What's Trending is brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive since 1942. Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit tellytire.com today. Number one on What's Trending, the biggest story in sports and around the country today, the NBA gambling scandal. 2 separate investigations by the FBI landing 2 indictments, 34 people in separate investigations across illegal poker games and sports betting. The mafia involved, the NBA allegedly involved, Chauncey Billups, the current head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers on the poker game side of things, Damon Jones, an assistant coach, Terry Rozier, a current player, Jonte Porter, a former NBA player on the sports betting side of things. Kind of the same path as what we had discussed for a couple years about any of these investigations, usually on the NBA player side, involve prop bets and unders and easily manipulated type of unders. These were caught via some companies that are able to detect betting irregularities. On the poker side of things, they're alleged to have used x-ray machines built into tables to read face-down cards, contact lenses and glasses that read pre-marked cards, secret cameras and card trays. So huge story that's only going to continue to evolve.
All right, guys, no glass. I will say this. This is just the beginning, Gold, because you know what? People haven't talked yet. People plead things down, they start talking. Anybody involved in this, player or otherwise, guess what happens? They start mentioning other names. We're at the tip of the iceberg on this. Thursday night football tonight, the Chargers in Minnesota. Line's down to 3 at this point, right? The latest lines you saw on DraftKings. It's -3 there for the Chargers. Again, the tackles have been out for the Chargers, but Alt Pipkins did practice this week. We'll see, but definitely a different team with other tackles. And then Martin Hampton running the ball. But I will say this, the wide receiver's looking good. Keenan Allen, by the way, leads his team in receptions and yards. He looks great.
Yeah, he got off to he's cooled off. The first 3 games were awesome.
He still leads the team in catches and yards.
Speaks to Ladd McConkey having a rough go for sure. That's your guy.
Is my
That's
guy.
your guy.
Didn't have to get talked about Chargers with my guy. I was getting ready to ask.
You said the Chiefs missed out.
Fire that Keenan Allen question.
You said the Chiefs missed out on signing him. I would say they're doing just fine without him.
Yeah, because this was going to be when Rice was down.
You just wanted him for 3 weeks.
I would have signed up for 4-2 or 5-1.
Keenan Allen maybe not willing to sign to the Chiefs for 3 weeks, Bink. He'll be playing over anybody of these other guys right now.
Juju. I don't know if he's playing over Juju. Or I don't know if Juju's playing over him,
Different type of receiver.
I'm just saying. Just wanted it during that suspension time.
All right. Elsewhere.
But he's not washed.
Fair enough. 4 Silver Slugger Award finalists, Salvador Perez, Bobby Wood Jr., Michael Garcia, and Vinny Pasquantino. That was announced today by Major League Baseball. I'll say what I've always say about these awards. The finalists are announced today on October 23rd. Game 1 of the World Series is tomorrow. We will not know the winners of this for another 3 weeks or a month.
November
it's insane.
7th, I think.
It's insane. Yeah.
Good to see Vinny. Vinny's been all over TV. He's going to be working during the World Series, everything.
Yep, our VNFL insider is now all over international media at this point tonight. Tomorrow, I should say. He'll be in Toronto.
An Indianapolis judge has set a trial date for former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez, who faces a felony battery charge, among other offenses, after an October 4th incident. Sanchez is accused of seriously injuring a truck driver outside a hotel. Sanchez's trial date has been set for December 11th, with another hearing set for November 20th. and a pretrial conference date set for December 2nd, according to the Associated Press. He'll be back in the booth in 2 years.
No. Mark Sanchez will never broadcast another game.
He'll have a podcast then.
Well, maybe. That's fine. Anybody can do a podcast. No, he will not be broadcasting.
You don't think so? You don't think time heals things?
Not that. No.
I'm being facetious there and being sarcastic.
So. But are you?
I was, because I think he's going to be back in the booth. But I
thought you were asking a serious question.
I can see him back in the media at some point, like doing his podcast or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I can see him work for a show as an analyst.
Anybody can do a podcast.
I'm just telling you,
there's no law that prevents you from doing it.
People do look the other way sometimes. I can see him getting back in there.
Yeah. That is what's trending. Earlier today, Danon Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver, part of the Chiefs radio network. He'll be on the call Monday night with Mitch Holthus and Josh Klingler here on 96.5 The Fan when the Commanders come to town. But we did start our conversation with Danon, asking his thoughts on the news of the day in the sports world.
Yeah, it's a sad day, man. I mean, it seems like anytime you got those three letters involved in anything, it's not good. And it usually means that there's been a case or has been surveillance or moles or informants or like you're talking about not just an investigation like local police. You're talking about the FBI being involved. So, like, chances are they have things on those players and those coaches that those guys don't even realize that they, that were pertinent to their investigations. And it's unfortunate because, by all accounts of what I've heard about Chauncey Billups and what you've seen from him and his career, not just as a coach but as a player, that he seemed like a good dude. And hopefully he just wasn't caught up in something. But at the same time, you kind of feel like I feel a little indifferent about it because I feel like, we hear all the stories of athletes and entertainers hosting their own poker parties and, they're gambling on planes and in hotels. But like, you just wonder, like, what level did it go to above that? Was it, when did it go from like the poker game on the plane as they were taking off to the level that the FBI got involved? And so it's going to be interesting to see how all that unfolds.
No question. Hey, Dane, in this last game, a lot of talk about the offense, and it's been the national story how good the offense looks. What was more impressive to you in that game, the offense or that defense for the Chiefs?
So, Bink, it pains me to talk nicely about defense.
Does.
You guys know that.
Yes.
Like, my stomach is already turning just a bit. But I have to say, in the NFL, anytime you put up a goose egg, you have to get props. Like I don't care what the score of the game was. If it was 50-0, the fact that we were able to hold them to 0 points, the hated rival, the Raiders. And then when you look at the stats that back it up, it wasn't like it was a host of turnovers. It wasn't like, it was like you're talking about 30 plays. Like the Chiefs will run more plays in practice today. Like they'll run, they have drills that have that one, like more than 30 plays in just one segment of their practices. So the fact that they were able to accomplish that against an NFL team, there should be an immense highlight on that just alone for them to be able to accomplish that.
But, Dana, when you look at this game, you think about it. I know the Raiders didn't look good in that game. They looked terrible. Chiefs made them look bad. Have you ever seen anything like that in pro sports where – I mean, I get it, man. It's the top of the top that makes pro sports. Those guys are paid too, and they're paid a lot of money for the Raiders. Yeah. But only the top of the top gets to the NFL. And to make an NFL team look like that with NFL-caliber players that are just coming off a win the previous week, have you seen anything remotely near that?
Nothing. And it couldn't have happened to a better team, by the way.
They wait for those plays.
That's what made it fun. The toughest part of this week has been that midnight rule. You guys have heard me talk about the midnight rule. Normally that pertains to losses where Marty Schottenheimer used to tell us midnight, put it aside, look to the next week. Whether you win or lose, good or bad, had a good game or bad game, the midnight rule comes into play. But when you blow out the Raiders, I feel like that should be extended. There should be like an asterisk that you can enjoy. You can savor that kind of beatdown when you beat the Raiders to that extent. So for me, it's been difficult turning the page. I got players only tonight. I'll be in studio. I'll be basking in it just a little bit longer. So hopefully the listeners and the callers will enjoy that portion of the show as well. But at some point, I got to look to these Commanders. But like, if there's such thing as Christmas in October, to be able to blow out the Raiders in that fashion, like that's probably as good a gift as I would ever want.
We're talking to Dane and Hughes here on 96.5 The Fan. Rashee Rice, of course, made his return last week, and right away we saw that this offense is going to run through him, much like they tried to have that happen a year ago.
How cool was it that, like, there wasn't any kind of taking baby steps or spoon feeding into the offense? It's like, and I've referenced this, think about what Andy Reid and Matt Nagy must have been thinking after the Super Bowl and in preparation for this upcoming season, to be able to, during the offseason, during the dog days of pre-draft, maybe even post-draft, that we got these weapons. And now we can draw up something because we're going to expect to have Rashee Rice back. This was before they knew about the suspension. And as I've referenced Andy Reid, the mad scientist of offense, imagine him being in in his office in the late nights, drumming up offensive plays, concepts, schemes to utilize those weapons. And now having that opportunity to do so. And then, oh, by the way, just to kind of thumb his nose at the Raiders, maybe to some extent to the league, we're going to feed him soon as he steps on the field. I said during the pregame show that I thought it was going to be the second play or the second pass was going to go to Rashee Rice. And I think it was. I think the first pass was to Travis Kelce, and the second pass was to Rashee Rice. I knew that it was going to be a quick play like a bubble screen or a flip pass just to get him involved in the game quickly and get him acclimated or reacclimated to the speed. But I felt like that was like there was a method to the madness. There was a reason behind him feeding him, targeting him so much. It was like he didn't just want to let the NFL know that Rashee Rice is back. He wanted like to hammer it into everybody's minds that you better be careful about what we're going to put forth on offense the rest of this season.
Well, Dana, you're the perfect guy to ask for this because you are a former NFL receiver. But that connection receivers have with their quarterback, it seems like every quarterback's got their guy, or in some cases, two guys like Marino with Duper and Clayton. It just seems to me this connection between Rice and Mahomes, that's pretty special. And I know after 3 years, you can give a guy a contract extension. I clearly think the Chiefs should extend Rashee Rice after this year, to be honest with you. But that's hard to find, that connection between that wide receiver, like Kelsey's had with Mahomes. But I don't know how you look at it, but it just seems to me that Rice is like that perfect guy. He seems like Mahomes' guy, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so, and I think justifiably so. He has done everything he can on the field to garner that trust. And, like, you can't take that lightly. When a quarterback realizes that everything is his fault and he gets all the praise and he'll get all the blame. And there's some unfair aspects of being a quarterback. If a ball goes off my hands, like it did for Travis Kelce against Eagles, that's an interception to Patrick Mahomes. If Hail Marys, that's an interception. The breakdowns of pass protection and a sack or a strip sack, that's on the quarterback. But then again, on the flip side, when you have a guy that you've built a relationship with and you built that trust and you're willing to say, you know what, inject him into the offense right now. It's week 7, and I'm going to showcase to everybody that he's my guy. And, like, as a former wide receiver, I always wanted the quarterback to know that the worst thing that's going to happen is that it's going to be incomplete. If you throw me the ball, I'm not going to allow the DB to intercept it. Like, that's the best I can give you. I can't tell you if I can climb the ladder. I don't know if I'm going to be able to create separation. I wasn't a speedster, so it wasn't going to be like I was going to run free down the sideline. But I can tell you that the worst thing that can happen is that it's either fourth down or third down when you throw me the ball. And to have the relationship that we're seeing or we've seen materialize with Patrick and Rasheed, and then also the other guys that are coming along. I mean, Patrick did a great job of keeping everybody happy on the field. Now, yeah, it was a blowout win. We'll see when a tightly contested game comes along and if guys are looking around like, where's my touches? Or where's my opportunities? But even Tyquan Thornton had his opportunity in that game. Noah Gray had his opportunity in this game. 9 different guys caught passes, and I put that on the shoulders of Patrick, recognizing that he needed to involve everybody, especially Rasheed early.
Turning the page a little bit, Danon, over to the Commanders. We know no Jaden Daniels. It'll be Marcus Mariota as the quarterback. But it does seem like Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel are trending in the right direction to be back. What do you make of the Commanders who, I think are dealing with super high expectations after last year? And so far, it's a complete 180 from how things were going a year ago.
I don't think it's any different than when the Lions came in, when other teams that we don't face very often come in, and based on the status that we've set, the bar that we've set as an organization with the successes that we've had in these years, every team comes in believing that they can turn their season around or they can add an exclamation point to whatever season they're having by beating the Chiefs. The Commanders are reeling in some respect, and they're going to come in here. And it's almost like the Raiders, where I said prior to the game that the Raiders, if they wind up winning the game, it would be almost like the equivalent of 3 wins for them in their psyche, in their approach, in their bravado, and maybe their preparation and mindset going into future games. I don't think it's going to be 3 wins for the Commanders, but I can tell you it's going to feel like more than 1 if they come in and win. So I feel like they're recognizing that this is a prime opportunity for them to kind of change the course of their season, not just from a win-loss perspective, but just from a psyche perspective, because you want to have something to latch onto as a player that you're doing things right, that you're doing things and you're moving in a winning fashion. And because of the injuries, that hasn't happened for them as consistently as they expected. This is 1 week where I think that they're probably thinking we can turn everything around with beating the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium.
Have you noticed any difference with this team as far as kind of the attitude and having fun? It seems like they're really getting back to that, kind of what drove this team the last couple of years. Early on in the season, maybe not so much because you didn't have anybody coming back. But with the Raiders game, they ran 2 trick plays. Mahomes trying to draw them off sides. And the play I like best, Danon, was the one that didn't count because I think Caliendo was off sides. It was the single wing. Mahomes and Gardner Minshew in 3-point stances back there, and it was a pump pass to get in the end zone. It did work, and you're going to see this again. They're going to spin around. It just seems like they use this for the Raiders. They got the Raiders coming up. They use these plays, and they'll have the Raiders last game of the season. They can practice stuff for postseason, but it just seems to me just a whole different level of fun this team's having.
Well, that's what Andy Reid has that's been the MO for him since he's came over. He talks about letting the players showcase not just their abilities but their personalities and letting them have involvement and to participate in game plans and structures. I bet you that, Patrick, it wasn't just like Andy said, hey, we're going to run this play on 4th and 1 and you just do it this way. I'm sure he allowed Patrick to have the ability to broaden how he was going to present himself at the line of scrimmage and say what he said that everybody's heard, all the expletives and so on and so forth, trying to add a little spice to it. That's what I love about Andy Reid as a coach. That's why when you hear players talk about running through a brick wall for a coach, that's an aspect of it because he allows us to be us. He allows us to have fun. And implementing that into the game is huge. So, yeah, I think this team is having fun right now. It's always fun when you're winning, Bink. So, you got to take that with a grain of salt. It can flip. quickly if you start losing games, especially with the hole that we put ourselves in. But that's the identity of this team. Like, if you look back, even back to Tyreek's days, back to the first Super Bowl after the 2019 season, the Legion of Zoom, the dances, all of those different things, there was an aspect of that being our identity, that we weren't this tightly wound team, that we were a team that was having fun, that were entertaining a lot of fans, and I'm glad we're back to that.
So that was Dana Hughes with us earlier today talking about the wide receiver room a little bit and Rashee Rice. I think, yeah, if he makes it through healthy, has no other issues and everything during the season, he is in line for a very nice payday. I just don't think the discount is what people think it's going to be. That's all. Like, maybe the fact that he's willing to have a deal, worked on sooner or whatever instead of dragging it out, because some players would say, no, I'm going to keep performing and my deal's going to be more if I wait. Terry McLaurin, who doesn't have the legal stuff, doesn't have the injury, is 30 years old, and he got a 3-year, $96 million extension. Now, the devil's in the details there a little bit, right? He's not guaranteed $96 million or even guaranteed $70 million. I think it's like 50 or 48. But Rashee Rice, if he signs an extension, if the Chiefs offer an extension this offseason and all goes well, it's going to be 3 or 4 years at north of $90 million. They're not getting him not signing 3 years for $50 million.
It will be cheaper than a normal receiver at that point, like a Tyreek Hill that went off and made plus $30 million. It won't be that. It'll be somewhat less than that. But again, not a big advocate on giving second contracts to skill positions, especially with the market of wide receivers right now. I just think it's more affordable with you getting a top 10 receiver for top 25 to 30 money with Rashee and the connection with Mahomes. But again, there's an allure, and the Chiefs know it. They know, and he knows they know it. They know there's a lure to be in Kansas City, work with Mahomes. He likes his team, likes his community. There's been loyalty back and forth between the two. So I think all that's in part of the equation too, and I think they know it.
All right, tonight, Thursday Night Football, before we hand things off to C-Dot and Rob, I know you're watching. I know you're locked into it. Chargers, you agree with me, though? Like, if they lose 4 or 5. They would lose 4 or 5. And to me, the division's over. I know they would have 3 division wins in their back pocket still, but it would just, the way the team is going versus you win, okay, you're trying to get healthy, and it's a whole different feeling. And it's like, no, the Chargers are going to be in this thing with the Chiefs and the Broncos for the end of the season.
I think Chiefs and Broncos kind of separate themselves when you look at these teams and how they're playing.